All right, so I looked away for 2 seconds and time slipped me right by. Sorry, I was just eating a little bit. Let me move. I got a bunch of stuff here. Let me get this out of here. How's everyone doing? Sims Life, welcome to the channel. Thank you for being number one today. Congratulations, good job on that. I am just getting set up. I looked away for 2 seconds and it was 7:01. Well, I guess I looked away for minutes. But how's everyone doing? What's up, silly boy? What's up, living life? Welcome back to Decoded, a journey into software engineering and computer science. Tonight, this has been the week of the web, and we've been learning how web protocols and things work, how the internet works, how to build a little bit for the web, learning a little bit about APIs and services. And today we will be building our own API. Now, it'll be a relatively simple API. I'm updating it right now, the commands, so we can see what we're doing in the project. Let's see. We're learning how to build a simple API that will allow us to. It's going to allow us to. Let's see. I won't read it out loud. Varying skill. Okay. All right, updated the project command a little bit there. Tonight we're going to be building an API. This API, the API that we're going to be building tonight is pretty simple. All it's going to be is an API that allows us to both retrieve and post and delete. We're going to be able to use all the HTTP verbs tonight, but we're going to be writing an API that allows us to a place to kind of store and save technical resources of varying skill sets, so of varying skill levels, so beginner, intermediate, and advanced level topics, with titles and links that people can, we can write little scripts. Maybe it'll be a cool little, we can write a cool little application that maybe this API can deliver you a random topic. So maybe you're far along in your career and you're like, hey, I don't know what I want to learn right now, so I'm just going to hit this endpoint to get a little, get an article back that's about something random that I don't know about, and it gives you the opportunity to find cool things that you don't know about. We also can do some stuff with categories, but we're just going to make a resources endpoint that we can build off of later. Remember, we are building a tool called Cerebro, which is going to be an open source course tool. So this is going to be something that's going to eventually kind of meld into that. So that is what we'll be building tonight. And we're just going to start building right from the beginning. There are no slides tonight, which is exciting for me, actually. I think we should be able to finish in 2 hours, no problem. The API, like I said, is going to be pretty simple. And I want to leave it pretty open for you all to implement your own adaptations of what it is that we're going to do tonight. You're creating an API that returns the ratio of circle circumference to the diameter. You have an epi. I don't get it. I don't get it. I need to read it again so that I do get it. But what I do pull out of there is that Canadian is a part of it. I don't know what an epi is though. All the HTTP verbs, even the obscure ones, no, I lied. Just all the basic ones that we know. So we'll just add endpoints for get, post, patch, maybe not patch, and delete. Maybe put, who knows. We can mess around and we can have as much fun with this as we'd like. We'll move this over here. Let me move. I have so much going on my desktop for no reason. Okay, so where are we going to start? If we make a cores enabled, we can get options. That's true. That is very true. We should talk about cores sometime tonight. I think we will do that. Okay, what's up, Jumpman? How are you doing? What's up, No Muscles? Again, Toast is Ergling. Welcome. Let's get to it. Let's get right to it. Let's get on to the Academy view. All right, we are in the Academy view. And like I said, we are not doing any slides tonight. We already learned basically what we need to know about APIs. And so we are going to be able to write one ourselves today. We learned how to interact with APIs last time. We were able to, get the information that we wanted from the, the weather API and stuff. And we were able to query different information from there. Tonight, we're going to build our own. We're going to begin to build our own, something that you can work off of. You can save this. And so you can find a lot of API tutorials. Tonight, we're going to be using NodeJS and Express. Express is simply a web server for JavaScript, for Node. and it allows us to do some pretty cool things. I was gonna just do some JavaScript stuff. I mean, not JavaScript. I was just gonna do give you guys a big JSON file as the data. But I think we're gonna. I think we have time. I think we're gonna use Mongo as our data store. We'll see if we can get that set up and working just fine. Probably just do it in a Docker container or something. But that is what we are about to start doing, and it should be pretty fun. What's up? Let me move this so I can actually see your names, so it's not super wide off to the left. What is up, EJ underscore? It is good to have you. Welcome to the channel. Okay, so here's what we are going to do. Not only here are you going to learn how to put this together again with JavaScript. I don't want you to spend too much time focusing on. So I will try to go slow enough so that you can copy along with what I'm doing. We will push this code up, so you'll be able to grab this no problem and be able to modify it as you'd like. Test it locally. Everything should work fine. But I will go. I think tonight we have time to go slow enough to where you'll be able to follow along. I don't want you to spend too much time stressing out. Again, if you don't know JavaScript, if you don't I don't spend too much time stressing about the syntax. We'll talk through all of it. If you have any specific questions about it, like a piece of syntax where you're trying to, you think you're close to understanding something, feel free to ask as many questions as you want. But we are simply going to, we're just going to run through it. And there are a fair number of pieces to this. It is relatively easy to get up and running though. And so, yeah, we'll just start from there and we'll continue to just build on the concept and build on the concept and build on the concept. I think that, yeah, we will absolutely do that. So what I'm going to do first, I'm simply, get ready, make yourself a folder or something, wherever you want on your computer. Use whatever your favorite text editor is. What I'll be using. I will be using the infamous Vim to do all of my stuff. So I'm going to head over into the mastermind folder, into the streams folder, into the decoded folder. Oh, there's no decoded folder, is there? No, there's no decoded folder. Okay, well, I'm gonna make a decoded folder, or there is, but it's somewhere else. And in the come on, in the decoded, hold on, we're gonna do this right now. How do I enable let's see, ZSH enable let's see, what am I trying to enable? I don't want it when I tab complete case sensitivity. Thank you. My mind broke right there. Enable case sensitive. How do I do that? Autocomplete matches. I'm pretty sure it's simple. Here we go. Case sensitive equals true. Let's see if it's already in my ZSHRC. Thank you. ZSHRC. Case, yeah, there we go. Line 21, that's what we need. Whoops. Yeah, uncomment you. Thank you. This is so much better, I hope. And then I probably have to source it. That ZSHRC. All right, there we go. So now if I go into decode, it took me way too long to enable that. Life is good again. I really, that really bothered me. Okay, I don't know why it took me so long to enable that. I will put that, I will actually move that config to my GitHub as well. Okay, so we, like I said, are simply gonna be building a simple API project here. So I'm just gonna make a directory, call it whatever you like. Call this directory anything you'd like. And I'm just gonna call this decoded. No, that's boring. That's boring. No, I'm gonna call it resources API because we are gonna be grabbing, we're gonna be putting into it different technical resources for people. So I'm gonna make resource API. This is just the name of the folder. We could think of a really cool name for this service later if we'd like. But I have some cool ideas for this, for just fun API to where people can put things and grab random information from, random challenges, all kinds of other things. So we have this resources API folder. Make your folder, get ready, and we'll start to get some things structured. Now, we are going to be using something called Express. So Express is an NPM package. It is a node library. And so npmjs.org.com. I mess that up every time. Super duper popular, fast, It says fast, unopinionated, minimalist web framework for Node. Really nice. Look, lots of downloads. I think what we used the other day had like, you know, just 1 million or 2 million weekly downloads. This has almost 14 million weekly downloads, which is going to make this fun. You know, it's heavily utilized, very much common space in the web dev world, and it's a pretty cool, pretty powerful little web server for Node. And so check this out. They give us a little bit of code right here, and this actually is all the code that's necessary to run Express. To run yourself a little web server with Node.js. So if you ever wanted to do that, you could do that. And so we're going to take this code, and this code right here, excuse me, this code right here is going to be the catalyst for the rest of our application. What's up, Michael? Is fun. You are very fun, so welcome. Thanks for coming through to the channel. Nobody, welcome. Nika55, it's good to have you all my friends. It's so good to see you. So we're gonna grab this little bit of code here, and does Discord allow you to paste in? I don't have Discord on here, I don't think. I don't. Whack. Okay. You'll just have to go to npm JS. You can go here if you just want to copy the code, or you can type it in. We can type it in to make it easier if we'd like, but I will paste this in case you want to grab it. So I'm gonna copy this little bit of code here, and we'll talk about what's happening when we do it. But the first thing you want to do, maybe that's the first thing you want to do. Well, so what I want you to do first is I want you to install this library first. We don't have a package JSON, so Node JavaScript uses npm. It uses npm as its package manager. Well, there's yarn and stuff as well, but it uses this paradigm of a package JSON or file that's kind of a manifest that tells it which packages you need as your dependencies. So first thing I want you to do to make sure you get Express installed, since we don't have that file, is to do npm install Express --save. And what this will do is this should save it kind of to this workspace right here. And when we do go through later and we could create a package JSON now, but we'll create one in a little bit. And then you can hit enter. I don't know much about JavaScript. I'm better at Python. Can I get something? Yes, absolutely. Sin City, we don't really care that much about, as I was saying, no need to focus on, I think you can. There's no need to focus on the syntax of JavaScript at all tonight. We're really just, I think that the paradigm still makes sense. The way that we have to develop this, there are way more concepts in here than just building this with Node and Express. Like building with Node and Express isn't all that important at all. It's just what we're going to be using to do it. Absolutely, you'll get something from this. So like I said, Express is a tool that we're using. So I just installed that package, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to make our first file, which is going to be our server.js. Okay. So I know. So the reason why, so the npm installation of when you use Node, the package manager on Ubuntu to install Node, it does some weird things with the locations of things and the permissions of things, and you have to do some weird stuff to get it to work properly. It's really annoying. It's very annoying. Or you can use npm to install it, I think, instead. But then you got to like do all this other stuff. So for now, you know, in the long run, this will be problematic, but right now this should work just fine. Let's see. Server.js. Oh yeah, we're gonna paste in what was given to us. Okay, so what's happening here? Just in, you'll learn a little bit about JavaScript here as well, but it's first setting up a space to basically import, excuse me, this Express package. So we're requiring Express, and we're setting it equal to a constant of Express. So this is how you kind of just import that package into the file here. And then we are creating this const called app, which is an instance of Express. It's an instance of the Express server that comes from what we just required from up here. So that'll pull it in, that'll instantiate the server for us. And then right here, take a look at what's here. Let's make it a little bit larger for you. Yeah, we can run an npm init to create a to create a package JSON in a second. Yep, you can do that. You can do it now if you want. We can do it after. I'll do it after this. But this line right here is interesting. It says app.get. So app is an instance of Express, and it's using the get function or the get method from the Express function. And so what it's doing is it's making a get request. Like that's what it does. It's making a get request, or it allows you to make a get request. And so it's saying that the location that you can make a get request to is /, and then it's going to do a callback function here, and it's going to it's only going to send you hello world. So what this line right here is doing is saying, hey, whenever this web server receives a get request, whenever I receive a get request on / being the root, so whenever I get it on the domain name, whatever the domain name is, I will respond with hello world. Okay, you don't need to worry about all the other stuff. You don't need to worry about all this is doing is saying, hey, when I get a get request on /, I will respond with hello world. And this last line just tells the application, tells the web server to go ahead and listen on port 3000. So that is the port that is going to run over by default. We can change this number if we'd like, but we will leave that as it is. So this is the file. This is exactly what comes from NPM, the NPM website, and I'll simply save that. All right. And that's all you need to run a web server. So all you got to do to run it now is do an npm. Well, you can't do an npm start yet. You just run node server.js. And when I run node server.js, it'll look like nothing is happening. It looks like nothing is happening. But if I open up a new tab and I curl http://localhost. So localhost is the web address for my local computer. Or you can do 127.0.0.1. That is always the IP address of the computer that you are on, but I like localhost. This is the DNS address for it. 3000. That 3000 is the port that it's listening over, so we have to tell it to listen to go to port 3000. If not, it'll attempt to connect over the default HTTP port. Remember, that port was port 80. Okay, so by default, it'll try to connect over port 80. So if I do this without the number here, oh, I have Nginx running right now. I forgot. So I do actually get a response from Nginx, which is stupid. Actually, what is running? Oh yeah, all that stuff that we set up last time for the stuff that we set up for pipelines. So now if I do that again, oh, actually, is Nginx actually running? Service Nginx stop. Why would I have local Nginx running? Okay, now I guess I have a local Nginx running, but if I try to do this, it'll connect over port 80, you can see, and it won't connect. But we'll clear this out, and I do this command again, but I do it over port 3000. Look at that. We already have a working web server. We really do have a working API. We really this is kind of a working API. Go your other process using port. Yeah, I mean, I could look and see. I was just very interested I was confident it was Docker, but seems weird. Nginx can only really be running in 2 places. But yeah. So hello world responds when we go to that. We can also see that in the browser. I go to the browser and I go to localhost 3000, and we get hello world. Oh, it returned hello world percent for you. That's probably a ZSH. That's probably if you did it in your if you did that with a curl command, it probably has to do with ZSH or whatever your shell is and some of your settings. I've seen ZSH has done some weird things for me. That's probably it, unless you pasted something weird in your server.js. So it'll return whatever's in there, and so it returns hello world. Super cool, super nice. So very easy to get up and running with a server. If we look at it, we can change hello world to whatever we want. And in here, this is a function, so we can put whatever we want in here. We could write we could I don't know. What else could we do? We could console.log other things in here. I think we could console. I think we console log stuff in here. Maybe not. Let's see what happens when we do something like this, just randomly. That might work, it might not, but we will find out really fast. Or was my node server JS? I'm actually, well, it'll probably console in the, whoops. Let's see, actually, hello everyone. Oh, maybe not, maybe that was dumb actually, because it's doing stuff in the Express instance, in the .get and not right here, but you can do stuff under there still. You can also set up other options in here, and so that's what we will see, and I could probably see that, yeah, in the browser, maybe, I don't know. So let's so this is for an app.get. So again, we are making a GET request to this web server, and it's responding with this. So if this is how you do a GET request, I think we can deduce from this that maybe if we take this block of code and if we paste it a couple more, oh no, that was a bad paste right there. And we paste it a couple more times. Let's put a little space there. If we change .get, and we could look at the documentation for this, but no need right now. You can do a post here, and you can say, all right, just so you know what you're doing, you say, you know, you posted something here, sure. And then we could do an app dot, oops, what's happening here? What is, okay, there we go. An app dot what, patch, app dot delete, and cool, we can put it in there as well. But let's change the verbiage here. Let's see, CI whoa, undo, CI quotes, you patched something, and we'll go down here, CI quotes, you deleted something. Okay. Oh yeah, that I from me stupidly hitting I. Cool. So now if we make a GET request to the service, to the server, it'll say hello everyone. If we post something, it'll let us know that we posted something. If we patch it, it'll let us know that we patched it. And if we delete something, it'll let us know that we deleted it. We didn't really do any of these things, but we made a different request. We use a different verb to make a different method to make the request. And all it's gonna do is basically just give us some text to let us know that it ended up matching one of these routes. So that's what these are. These are different routes. This is, you know, these are different routes. So let's check this out first, and let's see how this works, and then we will move along. So this is, oh, gotta start it. Let's save it, and it's running now. And so when we run a GET, we get the hello everyone output. But if we change that up and we'll put a capital X here, and then we do a post, what do we get? We get you posted something here. So we're already at the part where we're, you know, just deciding which HTTP verbs we're using, and it's allowing us to take different action based on each one. So we posted something. Let's patch something. You patch something. Pretty easy. And the last one here is delete. Maybe before we do this, maybe some of you who aren't comfortable with curl and you really want to get up to speed with Postman, maybe we should also do this in Postman, just so we can start to build out our Postman requests and things. But yeah, so I have some different options here for this. Before we move on to Postman, take a look. If I do, like, let's say maybe I try to hit /test. Maybe what happens if I do a curl, and I'll leave it on delete, that's fine. And I try to go to something else, I actually get an error. I get this HTML error. And so anything like any URL I put here will give me an error. Any URL I put besides just / will give me an error. Yeah, Slash is the only thing that'll work. Why is slash the only thing that'll work? It is because that is all we set up right here. We set up, this is the route that we allowed these requests to work for, okay? So you can use wildcards in here. So if we wanted it to work for everything, I could put like a little star here and say, all right, for any request after slash, go ahead and give us a response back. And so now if we run this again and we do a get request, because I only changed the get request block, we do actually get hello everyone no matter what we put here, because we allowed it to do so with a star. I don't know if that works for slash. It does. So anything after it will work. So you do need to be cognizant of the routes that you are creating. So let's see. All right, so we have some blocks right now for, you know, all the methods that we probably want to use. We probably don't need to do anything else. Just get, post, patch, and delete. So get the information, put brand new information there, patch information that already exists, and we can delete information when we want to delete information. So this is, again, the very basics of an Express server. Our API is going to take a lot more setup than this, but this is how easy it is to start to get set up with something like this, and you can have it do some pretty cool stuff. Any questions about that so far? And so most of the frameworks that you'll find even in other languages are very similar to this. They're very similar to this paradigm right here, where you'll set up some type of route, and you can go ahead and or routes, and you can go ahead and make some decisions based on the route. I also want to be clear that nowadays there are easier ways to build APIs. We're going to learn how to build one basically from scratch for the most part with JavaScript, using frameworks they have for building these web programs. But there are easier ways to build applications nowadays where you can kind of circumvent having to set up this type of routing, which we may talk about a little bit later on today if we have some time. So let's keep moving. Let's hop into Postman really quick. Just if you're trying to use Postman and you're trying to make some requests that way instead of curl, because it's a GUI application. I get it, nothing wrong with it. But you're gonna go into here and you're gonna click new request, call the request name whatever you want. I'll call it just resources API, and I'll put it in the decoded collection and I'll save it. And we can put our URL in here. Our URL is going to be http://localhost localhost :3000. All right, so if that's running, I don't know if it's running. It says couldn't get a response, so it must not be running right now, which it is not. We'll start it really quick. And we'll run Postman again just to show you can get a response. And we do get that hello everyone response, and we can simply change right here the method we have here. So let's do a post. We posted something, we'll do a patch, we'll do a put. I don't think we actually are doing anything with put. So when we do that, we actually get this error because we cannot put, because we didn't handle put anywhere. So it doesn't know, the web server has no idea what to do with that. And if we do patch and delete, you do get what you would expect back. So great. This is the first kind of entryway into our API. And so we could, these routes are going to allow us to set up, what happens when certain things go down. So, let's build this out a little bit more. And this application is going to be very similar. If you ever done usually, when you learn how to program, they usually teach you how to make a task application or a to-do application. And then a lot of times when you move into the web development piece of it, they teach you how to build a to-do, like API where you can, post new tasks up there and delete them as you've done things. And this might be pretty similar to how something like that might work. So we're going to keep it pretty standard, pretty simple as we kind of move along. All right, so I am going to run this npm init command. So this npm init command is going to initiate basically it's going to begin to set up a package.json for this application so that it can begin to manage all of these things inside of it. So I'm going to run npm init, and it goes through, and it's basically a kind of a walkthrough for you to create this pretty easily. And so you can hit enter to most of these. So it's asking you what your package name is going to be. It's going to take the folder name that already exists. So just hit enter. The version you want this to be, if you prefer it to be a version other than 1.0, doesn't really matter. This is metadata for your purposes, mostly for your purposes, and hit enter. You can give it a description if you want. I'm going to say a technical resources API, sure. And entry point server.js is the file that we're using. It already picked up on that. We'll hit enter again. Test command. We can put in npm test. If you want, we're not doing any testing right now, but npm test. Git repository. We don't have a repository for this yet, but you can update that later. So just hit enter. Keywords, enter. It's just going to ask different metadata options here. You can just hit enter here, and it's going to ask you if everything's okay. Just keep hitting enter if you'd like, and it's going to go ahead and set these things up for us. What's up, Manticore 11? Welcome to the channel. Good to have you. Blue screen 539, thank you so much for the tier 1 sub. Good to have you. Darren AJ, welcome to the channel as well. All right, so clear this out a little bit, and let's move on to the next one. So now we do have this package JSON file here. So if you look at it, again, this is just going to be the thing that's going to help us manage our dependencies and help us set up scripts and all kinds of other stuff in here. So yeah. So now instead of running node server.js, we can run npm start, and it will spin up just fine. Same amount of things. So, not really that much of a benefit, but if we should add more things to the start command, that will help us out. How did you create the package JSON? I ran npm init, npm init sin city, and that will go through, and it'll take you through a little walkthrough. You can, add the items that you want, but most of them will be filled in. So go ahead and just keep hitting that enter button if you want, and it should set it up in a way that's good enough already. But if you also look at this package JSON, remember how we did? Actually, I guess we got to save it now. So I guess now. We got to rerun that. If you rerun that express save, if you rerun npm install express save, it should add it to the package JSON. It should, I think. Oh yeah, there we go. It adds it as a dependency right here. And so now it's here and it's available. But yes, I'm not running Red Hat. I am running Pop OS, which is an Ubuntu derivative. So it's, uses apt and has all the Debian goodness you might want to have in your life. Okay, so check this out. So because I did an npm install on that, there's a node modules folder here now. Node modules is where those dependencies all go. So that's there now. The package JSON is the file that's going to be, managing these dependencies, and our scripts and things is going to, keep track of what's going on, or help us keep track of what's going on. The package lock.json is going to keep track of specific versions of things, of dependencies. And the server.js is the file that we created. So we've only touched one file, and now we have a bunch of other things in here. Okay. So now here's what we are going to do for our application. There's going to need to be a little bit of setup here, a lot of setup actually, and I think we're going to go do this. What order are we going to do this in? First, let's talk about the structure. What I want you to do is I want you to create 3 new directories. Actually, create 1 directory here. That's up to you, but we're going to create 1 directory here real quick. We're going to make a directory called API right here. All right, and so the way that we're going to structure this is kind of how people structure. It's like a common way to structure APIs in Express. You know, there's a lot of options for this, but we'll just do it this way for now because I mean we don't need to, but we will. This makes it a little bit more complicated, but in this API folder, so we created an API folder right in the root directory of where we were working. Let's go into that API folder and let's create 3 new folders. We're going to create one is going to be models. Okay, so this models folder, you'll see this a lot in inside of repositories. Models are generally a folder that's going to house the structure and the setup for connecting to the database. Is going to be the structure for data that's going to live in the database, whatever you're using. We're going to be using MongoDB, I think. Yeah, we're gonna use MongoDB. So we're gonna have to do some other stuff to kind of get all that working. But we're gonna set up this models folder in here. We are gonna basically be able to set up the schema for the data. Again, that structure, that scaffolding for what the data is supposed to look like. We will set that up right here in this folder. So that's what that'll be for. We're gonna make another folder called routes. And routes is going to be where we're actually going to put those route, like that app.get that we had and app.post and all that other stuff that's in the main server file. We're going to move all that out of the server file. We're going to put that into its own routes file so that code can be, you know, tucked away into a nice place so that the server.js doesn't get too big. And the last folder, we're going to make is a controllers folder. You can call it whatever you want. We're going to call it controllers for now. And controllers are actually the things that happen when you hit the endpoints. This is going to be where our actual functionality lives. Like when you run an app.get to a certain endpoint, controllers are going to be where the actions are taking place at. So these are 3 directories we're going to make, and that's what we have now. What's up, Wopes? Thank you for the pipelines video. Absolutely, it's 2 a.m. here, so normally I can't follow your streams live. Well, one, I'm glad you're able to come through during this time. I'm glad you're enjoying the pipelines videos. 2 a.m. That is it's pretty savage. You know, that's late. I'm an old man now. I really struggle to stay up past midnight. When I used to be every night was 2 or 3 for me. But now, you know, I wake up pretty early though. So, but welcome. It's good to have you live, and I'm glad you're enjoying them. So, now that we do this, we have 3 different folders here, and we're gonna make sure to put some comments in these files when we get in there to make sure that these things are working how we want them to work. But yeah, let's do we want to start here? Yeah, let's start at models. Okay. Here's what we're going to be doing. We are going to be making, the data that we're going to be giving people is information on a resource. They're going to be able to grab information of a resource. I figure a resource should have a couple things, probably just a name and maybe a URL, maybe a description. If you want to add a description, we can add whatever we want here. So I will go ahead and add that. Let me move this really quick. Hold on. What is this doing? Sorry, my main computer is like being weird. Weird. Okay. I'll just move this. I'll just close it. Okay. Here's what we're doing. We're going to make a file. You can call it whatever you want, but you need to remember what this file is called, even though you can look here and see it. I'm going to call it resources controllers.js. Whatever. The name doesn't really matter. But this file is going to be where we define the structure of the data. So remember, think about what things you need in that data. You can also define, schemas with multiple like layers and different schemas for different pieces of data. We're gonna have one schema for one basically data object thing that we want to have that we're going to use today. And so this isn't really API specific or JavaScript specific. The tooling that we're going to be using this again it's a tool called Mongoose, and it's a tool that allows us to make connections to Mongo databases via JavaScript. But this information isn't really specifically API oriented. This is just us learning how to data model basically in a language. Allows us to set up a model of data. So first thing we're going to do is I usually do this use strict thing. It's a habit of mine. I think, and so I'm not 100% sure, maybe we can Google it for a second. Again, this is something that I started to use because everyone was using it when I started to use JavaScript. For some of the examples that I was looking through, what I think that it does is it runs in strict mode, which I actually think is a relatively it's only for newer JavaScript things, but I think what it stops you from doing is like unused variables and things you can't, like, won't work, or like won't allow things to run or something. Not 100% sure. We can look at it. I'm gonna stick it up there. Maybe we don't need it. We'll do some testing to see if you need it or don't need it. Let's see. No, JavaScript use strict. What does that mean? W3 Schools is a good place to go. Defines that the JavaScript code should be executed in strict mode. Thank you. Okay. Yep. Yes, ES5. But a literal expression ignored by earlier versions. Indicate that the code should be executed in strict mode. Thank you for all of your clear answers here. With strict mode, you cannot, for example, use undeclared variables. There we go. That's good. Okay, that's literally what I said, basically, kinda. Excellent. Well, I'm gonna leave it there. I don't actually think we need it, but I'm gonna put it there anyway. Actually, yeah, I'll put it there anyway, just because out of habit. You'll see me put it there a lot. Yeah, and then what we're gonna do, and maybe I shouldn't do var, maybe I should do let Mongoose equal require Mongoose. So this is a package that we're gonna have to install via npm in a second, but this is how you import it. So this is just setting up the Mongoose package for us to work with as we are going right now. So then we are going to do var or let schema equals Mongoose dot schema. So we could go look at the Mongoose documentation. I don't think we should look at the Mongoose documentation because, again, the goal tonight is not to know how to use each individual one of these tools. The goal is not to memorize, the syntax of the things that we're doing tonight. The goal is to get to the part where we are doing things in the API and understanding how the APIs and things work. So I actually have right in front of me, I don't have, I have a bunch of the documentation up on my other computer because me, I absolutely do not memorize syntax. So I'll put these little doohickeys at the end. I'm not used to putting doohickeys at the end, semicolons, but if I must, I don't think I need to anymore, but I will. Can you briefly talk about how to protect the routes with JOTs? Yeah, with JavaScript web tokens. Yeah, we can talk about that as we get a little bit farther. Yes, but so just to let everyone know what ETS is asking for, or ETTS, I don't know how you like to, what you like to be called, but is basically how you keep people from being able to access the endpoints, just willy-nilly. We talked about this a little bit on Tuesday, but it allows you to secure your endpoints. It allows a way for people to authorize with your endpoints, and JWTs is JavaScript Web Tokens is probably the most common way of doing that nowadays, and we'll talk about that a little bit as we get a little bit farther along. Okay, so let's keep going a little bit. So schema, this is going to allow us to use the schema, the tools that schema provides inside of Mongoose to be able to set some stuff up. So first thing I'm gonna do really quick is I'm actually going to install Mongoose because I think it'll give me some auto completing things. So I'm gonna save this really quick and exit. And again, the same thing that we did with Express. I'm gonna install Mongoose. I'm gonna do a -- save. excuse me, npm, oh, not Mongoose, just Mongoose. All right, so now if we look at the package JSON again, we should have, oh, actually that might need to do that in a different folder, but let's see. No, so I do have Mongoose now. You can see Mongoose is now added on line 14. All the cool people use npm nowadays. I'm not a big fan of JavaScript because of the dependency management at all, but npm it makes things easy. But the npm, like, all the security problems really bother me. Like how many packages other packages can pull in. npm I, sure. I guess I'm not a cool kid, but maybe I'll start. Maybe I'll be a cool kid. I think we have 1 or 2 more packages we'll have to install tonight. But yeah. All right, so here's what we will do. Let's go back into API. Actually, we don't need to do that. We don't need to go back in anywhere. Let's just open up our text editor. API, what we're doing, we're working on models. Okay, we're working on a model here. And we'll close this side. What's this? Why is this open? Why did it do that? I don't know why it did that. All right, cool. So we have this here, and this is kind of just the initial setup that we need to be able to start to utilize the schema functionality of what we want to do. So now what we want to do is now we're going to make another variable. And we're gonna make another variable that's gonna actually be the schema itself. So I'm gonna call this resource schema. You can call it whatever you want. Again, it's just a variable. You can call it whatever you want, but just make sure you refer to it next time we need to do something. But this is gonna be a new schema, okay? So a brand new schema. So it's gonna take on this Mongoose, that schema right here. And this is where we can start to define our structure using, because we're using Mongo, and I guess most things, we can start to define it using JSON. So we can set up a JSON object to represent what our data is going to look like. You might say, what does that mean? It's simple. You can do things like this. Our resource is gonna have, a name. We'll probably should have a name. Maybe we can call it something else, but it should probably have a name for people to call it. And then we can do some stuff like define what it actually is. So first thing I'm gonna do is type string, not type, but type string. So we're gonna define fields, basically. We're basically defining these fields and what they are. So type string, we can set all kinds of things here, like default values, whether or not it's required, all kinds of stuff you can put in here. Again, if you check the Mongoose, documentation, you can find all of these things. The goal tonight is not to understand how to use Mongoose, to care about, you don't even have to know what MongoDB is at all right now, but that's what we're going to be using to store the data tonight. We're just going to be using Mongo, and I'm going to make this a required field. Why am I going to make this a required field? Because why have a resource? Why would we want a resource that does not have a name? So I'm just going to give it a little message, a helper message. Please enter a name for your resource. And so this little when it's required, this little text that you can put after here simply is like a helper message in case someone tries to publish some information that does not include this required field. And this is a little helper text that will help them to get going with what they are doing. And so that is one field right there. So pretty simple. So you can define as many other fields as you want. It gets a lot more complex where, we're going to do a field that has multiple values, that can take on multiple values. So I think it should have name. I think it should have a URL, which I think should be required as well. And we can go type, we can go string, and we can also say this is required as well. Please enter a valid URL for your resource. All right, phenomenal, very, very exciting. There we go. Now we can add in all kinds of other things. Maybe if it was important for other kind of data fields and common things people usually go with. I think for all the to-do apps, they usually add in like a created date in here and all kinds of other things. We don't really need any of that. The last thing we might want to need is, I'm gonna say that we're gonna need something called difficulty. Where am I missing one? Oh yeah, you are right. Right here and right here. Absolutely, thank you for that. That was going to be problematic. I'm going to miss a lot of syntax. I'm going to make lots of syntax errors as the night goes on. What's up, Grilly or Griley? Griley, welcome to the channel. It is good to have you. We are just making some cool schemas right now. A simple schema, not cool schemas, a simple schema for the resources that we're going to be doing. So maybe not category. We could do category, but then I'd have to think of a list of categories. I think it's easier if we just do skill. And maybe we'll make this a skill level ranking. And I'm going to make this type an array of things. So the type here is going to be, I think it's like this. I might need to Google that, but I think it's like this. And then I can do, an array of strings, something like this. And then I can actually make an array. I can do an enum, and I can say, hey, it can be one of these things. So I'll say beginner, comma, intermediate, and I will say comma, advanced. So this way we can provide, a skill tag to each of these pieces of data as well. And like, it has to be one of these things. And let's close this out and close it like this. Skill level, we're gonna make everything required because that's what we do. We make everything required. And we can say, please enter a skill level of beginner, intermediate, comma, or advanced. All right, there we go. And we'll close the skill out here. And I think I also need this comma in here. And all right, that's it. So, our schema is pretty small. Schemas can get, very large depending on how the data is. But yeah, simple schema here. We could have more than one schema, all good. But this just defines what the data is going to look like in the database. So there will be a field for name, which will be of type string, one for a URL, which is type string, and there will be one of skill, which it's got to be one. We got to enumerate over these things, and it can be either beginner, intermediate, or advanced. That'll be a string as well. And that is what our data is going to look like. That means that if someone is when someone requests data, this is the data that they'll get these fields. Or if someone wants to post data, they need to make sure that they have these things available. And you might say, how would anyone know, what this, like how this looks, what this schema looks like? And usually you'll have some API documentation that helps with this. And maybe if we can, a little bit later, we will go ahead and do some of that. So this is going to be the entire schema for us. And then I'm going to just, I need to export this so that we can use it elsewhere. I could have put this in, so we could put everything that we're writing tonight, we could put it in one long file, but we're not. So I'm going to export this module so that we can use it elsewhere. What is it? Mongoose. I hate when that happens. Dot model. And so what this is going to do is this dot model here is a method that they have inside of Mongoose, which is going to allow us to actually build this model. So we actually don't have to have like a schema like this set up in the database already. The application will set this up for us if we set this up correctly, which we are going to try to do right now. And so resource schema. All right, I think that's what I want. So what it does is it's going to model this resource schema variable right now. It's going to model into a model called, let's call it resources. Let's call it resource. It's going to model it into a model called resources. Okay. And then we can use that somewhere else. Isn't there an ORM? Use that automatically define models that correspond to the table, so you don't need to manually define schema. I probably, I think it depends on what what you're using, but I'm sure, yes, I'm sure you can do that. You may be able to do that with Mongoose, to be 100% honest. We don't already have you know, a table already set up, so we, like, you know, that wouldn't work for us, but I'm 100% sure there's probably, again, a way to do that with Mongoose, and other ORMs allow for that. ORMs, for people who don't know, is object relation models, object relational modeling. Well, let me see, what does it actually stand for? Object relational mapping, not modeling. So yeah, there's, you know, ORMs are really cool to allow you to do this. I think Mongoose is an ORM. I'm not sure it has all the functionality of, let's see. I don't know if it counts as, I don't know if it counts as one, only because I guess it is an ORM. I haven't used it a ton, but that's because I haven't used Mongo a ton. But I've only ever seen it used for pretty simple object modeling, so I'm not really sure that, I wasn't really sure that it, you know, had all the features that an ORM, a traditional ORM that I'm familiar with, has. But I guess it is. But yeah, I bet you can do that. But pretty simple. So this is what our data is going to look like. Great. Again, has very little to do with building an API, but an API is going to be grabbing data from somewhere. So this part is important. You are, like, if you wrote this in any language, you probably are going to have to do something like this to get it all set up and running, though. So good to know about it, good to understand, you know, what a schema is, and see an example of what structured data might look like. But again, no need to remember, you know, exactly what we did here. Okay, so this is, I think it's complete. Maybe not, we'll probably have to come back and change it. We can also, if we decide we want to add more information, we can actually, you know, go in and update this schema and add in more information. I kept it really simple right now, just to make sure we can try to get through everything that we want to do. Okay, any questions so far about that? Let's actually put, you know what I'll do, just so people understand when they get in here, because they probably won't know what each of these files does. At the top, I'm gonna put above here, and we're gonna say this describes, this creates a schema for the structure of the data in MongoDB. It sets up the fields and their types to be used when entering and extracting data. All right, so we'll put that there in case, you know, someone wants to read and know what's going on in this models file, and we will save that file. Okay, so that's models. Let's do our routes next, and we'll do our controllers last. Well, really our server.js is gonna be last, but we'll do routes now. So we're gonna add, let's see, add a child node. Routes, I'll call this the same thing. So I'll call this resources routes. .js. Again, call it whatever you like. And this resources routes JS is going to be where we are now. We're going to be moving our logic for what's going to be happening from here, from the server.js into this file right here. Again, we're only doing that to kind of show you a paradigm in which people build their APIs. Not important that you do it this way. The way that you structure your application is up to you. There are benefits and there are cons as well to being able to do this, to doing it this way. But yeah, this is just, it's a common way of doing it. All right. I think we're making really good time. I'm really trying to get you out before 9 tonight, or by 9 at least. So what we need to do here is, again, I'm gonna put my use strict at the top, and I do like to use strict for things like APIs, but again, probably not super important. I'm, again, mostly use it out of habit, but yeah. Okay, So what we need to kind of do here is we need to set up the different routes and where they're going to go. So, you know, if we want to set up, you know, that our API lives on /API/resource or just /resource or something like that, we need to set those things up here. Not only do we need to set up the routes that we want to have available to us, we also need to in those routes tell it what to do when a different method is asked for. So we set up the route that goes to API/API/resources. We then need to tell that route that, hey, when someone submits a GET request, do this thing. When they submit a post, do this thing. And when that's like, and we need to tell it what to do after that. Again, those actions, the things that it actually does, is going to be living in our controllers file. So maybe let's actually set up our controllers first. Actually, we'll set up our controllers first. Yeah, the business logic, absolutely. The business logic goes right in the controller. That's perfect. So I remember the word controllers used to be so scary to me. Like whenever I would look into code and I would see controllers, I'm like, what in the world is a controller? And this sounds crazy, but yeah, it's just where the logic goes. The resources controller .js. All right, so open up this, and the resources controller, all we're gonna do with the resources controller is, again, simply think about the things that need to happen when you are using something like this. All right, all that needs to happen is, when we're updating things, we need to be able to probably get information. If someone's using our API, we want them to be able to get the data that exists in there. So maybe there's a way to get all the resources that exist in there. So, hey, let me make a request to show you all the resources. So maybe we'll write a function for that. Maybe we'll write one to, maybe we'll write a controller to, we need something to be able to save new resources to the database. We need something to be able to maybe get individual resources. We need a way to update individual resources as well. So we're gonna have to put that logic in here. Like, just because it says post and patch and delete, those are just the verbs. Like, those mean nothing to the application at all. We can just use those to route the requests in the way that we want to have them. Is there a way to test the exposed API with a mocked database, like automated unit tests? 1000%. Yes, generally, especially when you're unit testing, you're usually going to mock that data, or mock those calls, so that it's not hitting. It's more a little bit more of an integration test when it goes out and starts actually making requests to outside systems. But yes, there is a way to do that. There's a number of ways to do that with Jest and Mocha and all that stuff. They allow you to do that pretty easily. What do you think of having a controller, model, and routes in the same folder, separated by resources? I think that's okay too. I think it depends on the structure and makeup of your application. I think that makes sense. I really do think that makes sense, depending on how big your API is and what you kind of have in it. Very similar to Spring, but in Spring, the controller, you define the routes, and you have service class where you code the business logic. Yeah, and again, these are design patterns. These are design paradigms that kind of have popped up, and have become commonplace. You can really build this how you want. If you like that paradigm, Incognito, I'm sure you can make it work. You can make it work, because like I said, I can put all this stuff in the same exact file if I wanted to, but this is just the paradigm that's kind of been taken on by the JavaScript community. What's up, Take Manako Manko Tanke Manko? That's better. Third time's a charm. Welcome to the channel. Thank you so much for the follow. It's good to have you here. Okay, so this is going to be our largest file. It's simply going to be our largest file because it's going to have the most things in it. Yeah, it's going to have a bunch of stuff. So it does need to do a bunch of stuff with Mongo. So we also need to include Mongo here. We need to make sure we get Mongoose in here. Let me see, Mongoose equals require Mongoose. Okay, var Mongoose, require the Mongoose. So we got Mongoose in here. And then I'm gonna pull that model into here. I'm gonna pull the model into here because the one that we exported, because this is again going to be the file. This is where the stuff's going to be handled that we need to do with Mongo. This is where updates to Mongo are going to be made. This is where requests to Mongo are going to be made. And so we're going to pull the Mongo information. We're going to pull it into here. That model, the way the data is structured, we're going to pull it right into here. So mongoose.model. And we're going to call the model that we set up, that we exported from the other thing, which I think we called resources. I think we can confirm in a second. We called it bottom of the file. Yes, we called it resources right here. Okay. So response resources, and there we go. We're gonna tackle how you get data from multiple tables. Not tonight. We won't have time to do that tonight. We might actually. We'll see what we get to. I wasn't going to, but maybe we can. So stuff more complex than CRUD, join logic. Yeah, no, we're not gonna get that deep into tonight. And the reason incognito on why we're not gonna get deep into that tonight, because this is specifically about APIs. We are doing a whole week of database stuff. So we're gonna be learning SQL, understanding NoSQL, learning how to deal with both relational databases and NoSQL databases. And so we will learn that then. I think that is in like 2 or 3 weeks. We'll be doing all the database stuff, so that is more for that portion of the course than this portion of the course. Recommend a book for DevOps. My team assigned DevOps responsibility to me and I have no experience. Yeah, everyone, I haven't read it yet. Everyone always recommends the Phoenix Project. It's a good place to start, but that's more of a theory book, and than an actual implementation book. DevOps is, it's not a technical thing. It's an ethos. It's a way you do things. So it's kind of hard. But I don't have any DevOps books. We do have a 24-part DevOps walkthrough on YouTube, like a beginner intro to DevOps thing on YouTube. If you do ! YouTube and check that and want to check that out, there's a whole playlist on my channel, 24 parts. But yeah, I don't know of any books because, I just don't be reading sometimes, something takes a long time. I read slow sometimes, And yeah, and so Angry Moose on the Loose is a little bit correct. They've assigned you the DevOps responsibilities. You probably will get PTSD, to be honest. You have an Azure DevOps. I haven't dealt much with Azure. I'm an AWS person. All the jobs I worked have been heavily into AWS. We will be absolutely diving into Azure, probably either at the end of this year, starting at the end of this year, or heavily next year. I'm trying to work out something. Hopefully with Microsoft. I'm waiting for some responses about doing some stuff in Azure, but yeah, I haven't done that much in Azure. What's an API? API is an application, a programming interface. What is the difference between a normal web page and an API? That's a great question. A web page is a web page can be rendered from an API. An API is an endpoint to grab data. It's a way for you to grab stateless data. APIs allow systems to expose functionality to the outside world, to everyone else, without people having to integrate with them. A lot of web pages use APIs to grab their data. So maybe when you go to a website, you might hit some code, you might hit some JavaScript and HTML and stuff, and that all loads onto the page and you start to see some things, but the data that's loaded into it may make a call to an API. It may say, hey, we need the data for the home page, and it may make a request to another endpoint to speak to another endpoint. That data is returned via JSON or XML, but JSON, excuse me, so that we don't have to parse it, and that information might fill in the web page there. Will you go into any AWS the DevOps course? Yeah, we will be going into AWS on DevOps course. We actually have a full AWS course, a beginner course that we did called what do we call that? That was called Horizon. So those videos are on YouTube. We will be doing, at the end of this 8 weeks, we will be moving into after this course, we'll be moving into the second level of Horizons as well. So we'll be doing part 2 of cloud computing with AWS there as well. But we absolutely will be doing some AWS stuff in the DevOps course. You have a clean stream UI. I appreciate it. You might clear it on point. You know, I worked hard on that. I break it a lot, but I worked hard on that. I stream schedule a bit late for my time zone, but we're looking more. I appreciate it. Like I said, everything goes on YouTube, so you can check it out after if you'd like. I do appreciate the support. Thank you. All right, so let's see. Where are we at? We are still building out this piece. So this is just going to allow us to basically pull in those models. Again, the goal is not for you to really understand how these packages work. The goal is just so that we can, you know, get to the point where we have a working API and that we can start to build out on this API. So I'm going to fill in some of the other boilerplate things. And this is, well, not boilerplate. This is where we're going to be listing out the functionality. List all resources. So this is going to be a function. This is going to be a function right here that we are creating that is going to list all of the resources that are in the database. So if somebody wants to go through and get all the resources that are in the database, you know, they can go through and get them this way. Again, some of the stuff, like this is just the way that we're going to be writing this callback function. This is the way that they're written, your request and your response. It's not a big deal. These callback functions just allow for some asynchronous things to happen for your application to begin to execute something, and when it's expecting a response, it will get it when it comes. Why did I call this response? This is supposed to be resource up here, and we'll call this resource, just resource. And so now I'm going to use the Mongo. So I already know some of the Mongo, how the Mongoose commands, because I had to look them up when I was like developing the stuff, like to figure out, you know, how do I get data out of Mongo. So I have my little notes here on how I get data out of Mongo. And so there is in Mongoose, you know, this comes from Mongoose. The way that we get data from this database and this table is to just do a find, here, and it's just going to find everything. And I actually have to pass in another callback function here, error, comma, whoops, resource, resource, I think is what we want. And then we just have to handle the error here, as you do in JavaScript. So you'll see this a lot, and you'll see me do this a couple more times tonight. This part, I'm just handling the error in case something happens. Send error, response.json. This will return the resource for you if you get the resource, and then now we can close everything. I think that, I think I need this here, and I think I need to close everything with this. This is just this. There we go. Okay, so this function right here, again, not important that you know what this does in JavaScript or anything like that. All it is I'm using the Mongoose package. You know, set up the model. I'm allowing it to find the things that are in this schema, that are using the schema, and if there are any errors, it'll return to us. So again, just a little JavaScript block, but let's put a little comment here, and we'll say this function grabs all resources in the database. All right. And so this is the find method. It's empty. This is empty because that's in Mongoose. That's how it has to take that, and that's how it finds everything. The empty parameter here is how it finds everything. That's how I was able to get it to find everything from the stuff that I found. Would Horizons Level 2 focus on the content on the AWS Solutions Architect exam? Yes, it would. It would absolutely focus on those things, and it goes deeper. So the first one was Solutions Architect as well, but most are associate. This Horizons Level 2 definitely focuses more on the professional level exam. And Lana, welcome to the channel. Thank you so much for the gigantic raid. First off, welcome everyone from Lana Lux's channel. Come on in and get comfortable. We are midway through making this API, so you can still have a lot to learn here. You haven't missed it all yet. Welcome. First off, let me give a shout out to let me move my mouse over here. Let me give a shout out to Lana. First off, if anyone's interested in game design or building games, I have no idea how to do it, but I spend a lot of time on Lana's channel. First off, it's exhausting. You code all day, you make cool stuff all day, and I'm like, man, I stream for 2 hours, I can't take it. There's too many questions, too much going on, and you do it all day, every day. So great channel. She's building a really cool game right now. Really excited, so definitely check her channel out. Thank you so much for coming through. I hope you had a great stream today. And welcome everybody. Welcome everyone from Lana's channel. If you're new to my channel, we learn stuff here. The goal is to learn stuff. This is Mastermind Academy, and we really focus on learning all aspects of digital delivery. So we learn programming, we learn cloud computing, we learn DevOps and site reliability engineering, learn stuff about managing infrastructure. We'll be learning stuff about design, we'll be learning stuff about web development. So all of those things are things that we will be learning over time. We run bootcamp style training courses, usually 8 to 12 weeks. We have some shorter excursions, which are just 2 to 3 weeks. So just give me some information if you're interested in any of those things. Please feel free to follow. There'll be a lot of learning to go down here. There's been a lot of follows. Welcome everyone. Matt Panda, what's up? Blindsided, good to have you. No exception, I love it. Kalisak, I'll go with that. It's probably Callie Isaac or Cal Isaac. I went for it. I tried it. What's up? AAS MM1. What's up? Chad B Noob. Zero Forever. Huge raid. Thank you so much, Lana. Again, it's good to have you. I hope you can go, get some food and relax after your long day of streaming. But yeah, welcome everyone. Cool. We're gonna keep moving so that we can get out of here in a reasonable amount of time, but it's good to have you all. So what we've done, just to give you a little recap of what we've done so far, we're building a very simple API. This API is written in JavaScript. It's written in Node.js using the Express framework. And we're just simply building a tool that's going to be able to take in and where people can go to get, an API people can hit to get educational resources for programming. So we're always sharing resources with each other. This is gonna be a place where we can put resources, and then people can, grab resources depending on your skill level. So resources can be filterable by, beginner, intermediate, and advanced skill levels, and they'll have links and all the other stuff, so people can kind of just, if you're like, hey, I want to learn a new topic today, let me go ahead and fire off this request and get me a new topic that I want to learn today. So just learning a little bit today about how to do that. All right, so we created our first function, and this should give us everything here, and we can start to test in a little bit. And I'm actually only going to put this functionality in here right now, just so that we can build off of this. So we'll put this functionality here. This gets everything. Now remember, start to stew in your head what else needs to happen. Like right now we're getting everything. What other things might we need to do? So we talked about a little bit of it, but start to think about that. And so we can add whatever functionality you come up with, we can try to add, but I'll add all the basics first, and then we can add whatever. If anyone comes up with anything cool, we can do that. So this is going to be, we have one controller right now. This is a controller file. We have one piece of logic that it can do. And because of that, let's save it. Not like that. That's absolutely not how you save the file. And we are going to open up our routes. We don't have a routes file. Well, we don't have anything in our routes file, and we will get our routes file set up. Remember, our routes file is just going to allow us to basically move everything that's in the server.js right here. We're going to basically move this over, but we don't need all of it, but we're gonna basically move this over. All right, so all we're gonna do here is, use my use strict up top, the sweet JavaScript. And so really what it's gonna look like is this. We're gonna do app.route, because these routes are cool. It's gonna allow us to set up the location. So right here, we did the method, and then we set up the route in the method right here, which is cool. It's great. That's phenomenal. You can do that. But the problem with this is, for a single route, we had to set up a method for each one. If we did it this way, we would have to set up a method for each and every single one. That is a lot of work. This is where you can use the app.route method. So that what you can do here is set up the route here. So we can say, hey, when we go to /resource, when you hit /resource, now I can determine what happens underneath. So I can do a .get. Okay, and actually I might have to do it like this. But I'm gonna do a .get, and then I tell it what to do. So inside of the parentheses here, then I tell it what to do. I tell it where to go. And so what you do here is you point this .get, you point it at one of the functions that's in the controllers. So basically, when a .get is made, when a get request is made to the resources endpoint, then go ahead and run this function out of controllers, and that's kind of how it works, and that is what it's going to be. As a noob, is that a CRUD? But yeah, basically, these are HTTP methods. These are methods which allow CRUD functionality, create, read, update, and delete. Yep, that's what we learned about on Tuesday. Yeah, 100%. You got it. You are not a noob. Even the fact that you can see that and know what we're talking about absolutely makes you not a noob. It makes you very smart. You know more than 90% of the world now about this stuff, which is makes you employable for sure. So let's so this makes it easier. So as you can see, I could do a .get, a .post, and all that right under here. So instead of doing everything that we did over here, you can do it a little more like this. .patch and .delete. Okay. And in here is where we are going to do a little bit more. But you might say, hey, how do I use those functions that are in that other file? And that is where we need to go back to that file. Oh no, what did I just do? Undo. Let's save this. How you doing, Felipe? Good to have you. And Jack the Mage, welcome. It is good to have you both. I know JavaScript has arrow notation, never fully understood it. Can you use the arrow instead of the word function? You can for, so you can use it for, so JavaScript is not my language of choice, but I do know some JavaScript. You can use an arrow function to declare a function, but I think it's in specific cases. I think it's for, someone tell me if I'm wrong. I think it's one for anonymous functions, and two, I think you can also use arrows for callback functions as well. But you might just be able to use some arrow notation. I don't use it because I don't really use it that much because, again, I'm not really a JavaScript developer. So whenever I do write JavaScript, I always forget about it, to be 100% honest. But yeah, I mean, I'll try to use it at some point in here, just to see if I can get it working. But yeah, I don't know. Someone who knows all about those arrow functions, please let us know about those arrow functions. But you'll start to see that as we kind of go through each of these, each week we'll probably move into a new language. Like we use Python week 1, we're using JavaScript here. Depending on what the topic is, we'll move to something new. To be 100% honest with you, if it's not Go, I probably don't know. I know how to do stuff with it, but I'm probably not amazing with it. So yeah. Anonymous function and callbacks can be anonymous functions. Yes. Oh, look at me knowing a little bit about JavaScript. See, I know things. I know some things. My favorite language is Go. My favorite language right now is Go. the biggest reason why Go is my favorite language is because it was the language that allowed me to understand a lot of the concepts that I didn't get when I like the one time I tried to learn C, to be 100% honest. And I don't know, it makes sense to me. Go makes sense to me. I like what it does. I like the ethos behind it. I like the power it has. So I like Go, and I really do prefer statically typed languages. But yeah, you know, Python's probably second up on my list, but I just don't get to use Python enough, so I'm pretty rusty at it as well. Gonna start learning how to use Rust soon, but that's gonna be a bit of an undertaking for sure, so that should be fun. I do enjoy Free Code Camp's JavaScript tutorials. I really do. I like them a lot. Okay, so this is kind of how it would be set up. Yeah, but now we need to tell it when it hits these functions to use something in the controller. So right now, all we have in there is a one to get everything, a function to get everything. So we're gonna take this. Let's close this, and we need to look at our controllers. And I may need to export my control. I might need to export everything. Oh, actually, I am exporting it. I'm already exporting it with this exports right here. So this is exporting this function that I created here. So that because it's exported, now I can use this. I'm able to use this inside of my file as long as I import the right things. So I'll close this. What routes? So here I'm going to simply I can do a module. I got it. So I'm gonna have to do some stuff for the actual app class that's being used elsewhere. That's being used in this. It's going to be used in the server.js. So we can do that now so that it actually works. Because we actually need to export this. Basically, we need to export all the routes. The routes are going to be here in this file, but we need to export all of them. All the routes need to be exported into the instance of our Express server. So that's what I'm gonna do now. And then we are simply going to do a let resources equals, and then I'm going to require, which is going now this is require is going to import whatever I tell it to import, and we are going to import dot slash is it dot slash controllers slash resource controller or controllers. Yeah, so all this did, let's close this over. Let's close that over here. Resource controller. Oh no. How do you redo? How do you redo in Vim? Someone tell me. You all are really smart. I just hit the U on accident. Vim redo. Normal mode. Now you can redo changes previously. Hold control and press R. All right, control R. Thank you. Got it. I didn't. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Undo, and then yeah, there we go. I accidentally pressed U, which was bothersome. Gotta get to the end of the file. You know, my Vim foo is getting better. I'll remember the control R for sure. But we're gonna take on this. We will bring this into this module exports that we're creating here. We're also gonna have to indent all of this. Yeah, and I think we just need to close off this entire thing really quick. And now that we've imported this, the things that are in this file to slash resources, now I can use resources right here, or resources dot, and then I can call the function or whatever function that we put in there. So I called that function. I should keep this side by side. I'll keep it side by side, but this function is called list all resources, and so I can call here control R list all resources. All right, so now whenever you run a dot get on the slash resource it will run this list all resources function for us. Okay, so it's probably getting a little confusing now, but all you need to know is that a route is set up with this routes. So now the server knows that it knows how to respond. It knows that it can respond to a route called /resource. And when a request for /resource comes in, right now the only method that it can respond to properly is a GET request, and it says, hey, when I do get that GET request, I'm going to respond with this list all resources function that is in the resources controller file. Okay, so hit an endpoint, run a function. That's, you know, pretty simple. That's basically how the things kind of work. Hit an endpoint. When the endpoint gets hit that you set up, you tell it what function to run. That's essentially how these things are going to work. And so now we can go back to our server, and we need to make some significant modifications to our server. The server is going to change a lot to get it to work. And once we set up the server, though, we'll kind of just be ready to kind of go at that point. And we can start to, we'll be at the point where we can just build stuff out. So we'll set the server up and we'll just start to build stuff out after that. So we'll set up some scaffolding really quick and get ready to go. What's up, Milky-san? Welcome to the channel. Thank you so much for the follow. And Coil, it is good to have you as well. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So all this is going to change now. Now that we have this const app express here, we are going to we already have this. This is actually already going to be instantiated in our application. So we are going to set up app equals express instead. We can set up some other stuff like ports. This is something that commonly that you would do, setting up what port the thing runs on. Like right now it's running on app.listen 3000. Usually you can give people, this is a common paradigm to give people some choice when they're setting up their ports. So process.env, actually lowercase inside of JavaScript allows this to read environment variables. And so usually you'll have port set. I think we saw this on Tuesday. We're setting up some things. And so it'll basically check for this and it'll set the port to this if we have it set. But if we don't, you know, we can keep it set to port 3000. So pretty simple here. Yeah, pretty simple in the way that we kind of build these things here. All right, now we're gonna get into the point where we've brought in Express. You know, we've kind of instantiated that app there. We set up port variables so that it can run properly on whatever port it wants to run on. We also, I think we need Mongoose here in this file as well. I think we may not need it. Whoa, what? Whoa. All right. Mongoose require. I'm hitting all kinds of bad things. My Vimfoo is acting up a little bit today. Mongoose. Okay, so we're gonna pull Mongoose in here, and then we need to do a couple of things here. We need to. This is the entry point to the application. Okay, where the application gets entered into is this server.js file. So the models we need to actually because we need the model to be loaded into the database because it already isn't set up there. We actually need this application to go ahead and create the model to load up the model that we created. And so the way that we do that is to pull that in like we've been pulling in other things, and it's to pull it in here. We did do this elsewhere because we do need that elsewhere. We do need that in the other file that we're working with in the controllers, but it also needs to happen here because it needs to load from here. And so basically we're going to require that models file. So we're going to this is in we're in the server files, so I think it's API. Did we put it in API? Let's see, hold on, I don't know where we put it. API models. Okay, whoa, let's close this. So we'll put it in /API and we'll put it in models. I feel like it should tab complete though. I'm not sure why it's not tab completing. API models, and then what is it? It is resources. Hold on, what is this doing wrong? Something is wrong here. How are you doing, O Langley? It is good to have you. Thank you so much for the follow. That API, this is where we are, isn't it? Yeah, it is. And we call this requests model. Request model. I think that's what we called it. Oh, that's why it's not tab completing. Come on, I should just, I should have known. Let's see. Oh no, no pattern found. Okay. API requests. Aren't you already in the API folder? No, I don't think so. This is the server.js. I'm not in the API folder already. I'm in the root. I am in the root. So API model slash resources model. All right, I think that'll work. Let's see. Is that what it's called? Resources. What? Hold on. What did I do here? First off, I need to rename this resources controller file. I definitely messed that one up, and that is why it didn't work. That's why tab completion didn't work, because I was trying to tab complete and we don't actually have resources model there. Can I rename from here? Yeah, I can. Move the, let's get out of this. Move the current node, and I want to change it to resources model. All right, there we go. And so go back over here. Let's see what happens if I try to do that again. Maybe not. /. Okay, well, I think that's right. This feels right. I hope it works. If it doesn't work, oh well. Oh, it actually might have been because this comma wasn't here, and that's why this went over like this. And or my Vim also just might not be set up to do this. I'm really struggling. There we go. Yeah, there we go. That's better. Okay, I just want to make sure we were in the right place. Okay, so we basically pull in that resource right there. And then the last thing in this section here is, so I'm throwing this in here. We don't actually have to throw this in here. I'm really throwing this in here for the ease of you using this a little bit later. And that is, we're going to be using a tool called Body Parser. And so this is going to allow us to easily parse the body of the requests, both incoming and outgoing. And it's going to make it so that we can more easily make these requests without you having to format things in a certain way or add a lot of extra stuff to your request to make it work. And so we're actually going to be pulling in a brand new tool, and it's called Body Parser, and it's commonly used. It's commonly used here to do exactly what we're doing. And yeah, it allows you to parse the body of the request. So this is going to be the new header of the kind of file here as we are pulling in, Express here. And so, yeah, actually, the problem of all this is because I'm missing a lot of commas here. All right, there we go. Okay, it's missing an S in the path. It is, in fact, missing an S in the path, and that should actually fix. Yep, now I can tab complete. Well, let me tab complete models, which is very interesting, but now it's not letting me tab complete that, but all good. I know this is what it is, I think. So we'll see if that works, and we'll see how it likes that. Now, we're actually going to delete all of this because we don't actually need any of this anymore. Why don't we need any of this anymore? Because again, we're moving the routes, or we've already moved the routes outside of right here. So I'm actually going to go back up here, and I'm going to delete all of that stuff right here, and we are going to continue to build on top of this. Now we need to do just a little bit more with Mongo. This is just Mongo boilerplate here. This is going to be the part where this is going to allow us to connect to the Mongo database. So yes, you have all these things that are going to do things with Mongo database. You have the schema, but you actually have to tell it where the Mongo database is and how to connect to it. So this is a mongoose.promise, and this is just directly from the Mongoose documentation. And this will allow you to do that. So global.promise. And this is, again, like I said, don't sweat this part. This is just the boilerplate that's going to allow you to connect over to Mongo. And I'll put some comments there so we know what's happening. So we just need to actually connect now. We instantiate a place for it, and the URL for Mongo's database is going to go MongoDB and then :// like you're doing a URL. That's just the protocol on the front there, and we're going to connect locally to localhost, so to our local computer. And then you can just give it a database name because it's going to set all this up. So I can call it whatever we want. I'm going to call it resources DB. Sure, I can call this literally whatever I want to call it. And this is going to allow us to connect to a database inside of Mongo when we are ready to do so and when this kicks off. Okay. How you doing, Werewolf Dev? Good to have you here. What's up, Papa Be Fun? It is also amazing to have you in the house. All right, so now this little bit is going to try to connect this to Mongo. I think this should work just fine. I'm doing good. I am doing good. You know, I can't complain at all. You know, I'm here with you all, building some cool stuff, writing some JavaScript, getting to practice code. Again, everyone who's new to the channel, I left my full-time software. I was a technical lead at a software company. I'm more of a DevOps guy. I have a DevOps background, like a infrastructure background. That's why we also run a DevOps courses here as well. That's where my heart truly lives. But because I was leading a team, I didn't get to quite do I didn't get to quite build a lot of things, in recent months or recent years, in the way that I would have liked to. So I really love these evenings when we can hop in and really build some stuff. I'm definitely knocking off some rust, but it is fun and I'm having a really good time doing it. So yeah. I'm happy to be here. Okay, now we're gonna just need to set up a way to use this body parser. And again, this is extra, but this is gonna make it easier for us to do some things. You actually would have some trouble. You actually might have some trouble trying to post data to this without doing the body parser stuff in here. And so we're just gonna basically URL encode this stuff right now. I think it's URL encoded. I might need to Google that really quick, but I'll go with that. I think it's URL encoded. I'm trying to remember exactly. I have some notes here, but I'm trying to remember exactly how I did it. I think it's URL encoded here, but and I think extended. This is what I have in my notes, that extended equals true. Not 100% sure what this is doing. I know it is basically taking it's allowing the app instance to use this body parser and to URL encode this data, and so that's going to allow us to pass through information in the URL pretty easily. So if we need to, or pass it through as, I forgot what the data type we need to pass it through as, but we will hop in and we'll do that in a second. We're almost there. We're almost to where we can start actually using this API. But again, like I said, this is the verbose way to build out an API. There are easier ways to build out APIs nowadays, but I think it's really cool to understand what is happening under the hood. I think that one of the problems with all these new tools and all these layers of abstractions is, yeah, you learn how to use it to set something up, but you don't really know what's going on. So when you run into issues, you're having a hard time trying to figure out what's actually happening with these things. So I think being able to build out an API on your own can be super helpful. There's a lot of tutorials on how to do it, and there are ones that are a lot shorter than what we're doing tonight. But again, I want to get you enough in here because I want to give you this repo and I want you to be able to take it and do whatever you want with it and have some fun, expand upon it, and do whatever you want to do with it. Okay. So all of our boilerplate is basically set up now, except for the main piece where we need to actually pull the routes into this file. So we need to pull the routes into this file, and I'm going to set up a routes variable, and then I'm gonna, just like anything else, I'm going to do a require, and I'm gonna pull in /API/ routes/ whatever file is in there. What's the name of the file that's in there? resource routes. There we go. That's what we're gonna pull in. And so we're gonna pull that file into here, and this right here is gonna pull the routes into this file so that they can be used. So instead of having them all listed out in this file, that is where we move them to. And then we're gonna register these routes with routes app, and this is going to register those routes with that running app instance here. And then we're going to still, we remove that app.listen, and then we're going to app.listen on the port. So remember up here, we set a port variable up here, and we set it to, either whatever's passed in or 3000. So we're just going to listen again, and then, and then we can give a little message. We can, like, this is fine. We can be done here, but we can just do like console.log. Your app, whoops. We can say this app is now listening on port, and then we could just include the port number here. All right, so this is just a little bit of a string interpolation here, just to give us a little message to let us know that this thing is now running. Okay. We've written a lot of code. We've written a lot of code without seeing anything run. Okay, so we'll take a look. We'll take a look back at it in a second. But the first run is always pretty fun, and we're just gonna kick it off, and we're gonna see what happens. We're gonna just see what happens when we simply run and in. Actually, we need to do one other thing. We need to also install body parser really quick. So npm. Install. Wait, you said wait, npm-i, does that also save? Let's do npm-i body parser, because I want to be a cool kid like you said. Yes, it saves. Nice. Okay, and we can confirm that it saves in our package .json, and it does in fact save. I appreciate that. We are the cool kids now. We are. What's up, Abracadabra? Welcome to the channel. I hope you don't disappear on me, see, you like how I make my jokes? I hope you don't perform a magic trick on us, What's up, Nox? It's good to have you. What's up, Salim Hound? I tried it. Welcome to the channel. I am missing an S in resource model server.js. I'm sure I am, 1000%. I am. But let's see. Where resource did I call it resource model or resource models? Let's see. I called mine just resource model. So I think I'm okay there. I think I'm all right. What was that? That was weird. Whatever it was gross. I think I'm okay here. I hope. We're gonna YOLO it. All right, everyone. Send your good energy this way, because we need to run this for the first time, and we're gonna run npm start, and we'll just see what happens. So close your eyes, take a deep breath, pray to whoever you pray to. Okay, this is great. No problem. It didn't work. What's our problem? Can't find. I think the error is exactly what you said. Resources. When did I call it? But oh, resources. I was looking at the end of model and not resources. You called it tank fodder. You called it. Actually, NHL 4000 called it first, and then I looked at it, and my mind was predisposed to look at a certain part of it, which I did not look at, and we're missing an S. The whole application broke because of a missing letter. We fixed it though. We did in fact fix it. And again, how could you troubleshoot? Take a look at the errors. It says, hey, I can't find this module. And generally, if you know that module is supposed to be there, it's either one of two things. Either it's not imported properly or you spelled something wrong. Guaranteed every single time. And for me, it's guaranteed that I spelled something wrong every single time, guaranteed. So that first try didn't count. This is the real first try because someone told me what to do and I ignored it. So here goes nothing. Okay. Unexpected modifier. Okay. On module.export on the Mongoose model. So, okay, let's take a look at our Mongoose model. Is that the file that it's in, or is it? Okay. All right. So let's take a look. Let's take a look at our models. This is why I hate developing so much. I thought about doing like giving the boilerplate first and everything, you know, just being fine. But we'll see what's going on here. So it said that the error, I should have looked at where it said the error was. It said that the error was in module.export. So at the bottom, module.export. This usually means, to me, I probably missed the ending of something above it. Is this not fully closed? It is not fully closed, and called it. I absolutely called it. I'd never close this schema call right here, and I think that all I have to do is close it. And this, or maybe not that. Maybe just close it. All right, I'm gonna try to close it. Come on, okay. Unexpected token. Okay, that's not how you don't close it that way. You don't close it that way at all. Or am I missing? It's definitely that. I should have closed it properly. Let's close it. Let me look at it. I didn't even look at it. So close it. What? Is it the let? What? So new schema. Let's see. This. Oh, do I need to close it again? Oh no, this closes. Oh, I'm missing one of these. I'm missing one of these. There we go. Got it. Oh, thank you. Incognito, you got it. There we go. So now we closed it. Now we closed everything. Let me I close skill. This closes the whole thing. Yep. And so again, some of that comes from like I called that I probably did something wrong above it, rather than the modular export. It said unexpected identifier. I've done just enough JavaScript to know that usually, you know, if modular export is right, if this line is right, that usually it has to do with the preceding code. It just like things like that are just things you pick up over time. So let's see. Okay, we got another one. Is that the same thing? All right, different place, different. Now we're in the controller. Resource equals mongoose.model. Resource is not defined. Okay, so let's open up that file. Resource in the controller. Controllers. And so in the controller, it's basically saying resource equals resources. Resources. Oh, actually I think this is defined as resources. I think. No. Resource is not defined. I'm pulling this from Mongoose model resource, but I'm setting this. Oh, comma. There we go. This right here. I think this is it right here. I think it's simply a comma. And if it's not, oh, okay, that's better. And perfect. All right, let me tell you, there's one, it's broken. It is absolutely broken. I had the comma there. The app is ready. It says it's now listening. It's not listening. It's lying to you right now. It died. Or actually, I guess it is listening. The reason why it's not working is because first try. Exactly, we did it, guys. First try, we did it. The reason why it's not working is because we absolutely do not have we don't have Mongo running. All right, and I'm not gonna install Mongo. I'm just gonna use Docker because so Docker run Docker Mongo. Let's see. Let's just see. You know, I could go grab the command, but I'm gonna pull it from someone right here. Do I want to persist data? Sure. But I want one that also exposes. Here we go. This looks like exactly what I want. I'm well versed in containers, so I know exactly what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a command that will both persist a volume here locally on my computer, and one that will expose the port automatically. And so that's what this will do. And so we're just gonna paste this in because I don't want to install Mongo locally because, you know, sometimes it can be a lot of work. And Mongo is in fact running. Okay, now let's see if this works now that we have MongoDB running. Okay, look at that. We, I think, have a working application. How can we see? We can now do a curl. So if I curl, it's a get method by default. So if I do http://localhost and I hit, it's running on port 3000, I think, and I hit enter, I get a problem because I did HTTPS, but I get an error because I did it for slash. We do not have a route for slash. We don't have a route for the root, but we do have a route for resource. Boom. That may look like an error to you. That may look like a problem to you. That absolutely is not a problem. What we did receive back is valid, is a valid JSON array. We actually got an array back. We got an empty array back, but we did in fact get an array back. This is a valid request. How do we know it's a valid request? One of the ways that you can confirm whether or not a request is valid when you don't know what kind of data you're supposed to get back is I can add a -i to the curl, or whatever tool you're using. Look for the HTTP status code. The status code you're looking for a valid response is anything in the 200s. So 200 is what you want. 200 okay. 400s and 500s are bad. That means that there's a problem. But a 200 response code is okay. That means even though we got no data, things are looking good. All right, that's a good thing because we just created this. We just started up Mongo. We don't have any data in our database. And maybe that's what we should do next. Maybe next we should write a quick little piece of code so that we can put data or post data to this endpoint. All right. And how will we do that? I'm going to close our server down. We actually have a working server that's really exciting. But now that we have this working framework, all you got to do to update things, well, not all you have to do. You basically need to go into your controllers, add a new controller, and then you need to go into your routes and you need to configure your route to use that controller. Those are things that you need to do whenever you need to make updates. So we shouldn't have to mess with the server file anymore. We shouldn't even have to mess with the model anymore unless we want to change the structure of the data. But yeah, what's up, A Warbear? I love the name, especially because it starts with an A, because my name starts with an A. And also, I think that the name Warbear is nice. It's a nice name. It's, for some reason, it sounds like it's supposed to sound really, tough, but to me, I think of, like a teddy bear, the war bear. Hello, how are you doing tonight? But we are almost done with this. Let's add some functionality so that we can at least post and maybe delete. Absolutely, you can post a link to an image, post a link to whatever you want. Everyone, because it's an image, if it is porn or anything that is rated more than PG-13, I hope you're an adult, and if you're not, I'm sorry you got. But yeah, absolutely post whatever links you like to post. Well, if Nightbot will let you, it should let you, but yeah, post whatever you want. And when you do, we will check it out together. All right, so now we let's add a new thing. Remember, kids, don't get got. I mean, hey, it happens. If you want to grow up, you got to get got sometimes on the internet. Unfortunately, it really sucks. I've had my share of rated R Rick rolls, basically. It's not always fun. It really isn't always fun. So let's add a new controller to the group. Let's add it. So we added something to create a resource. I think we should just add stuff to match the 4 basic methods right now. That might be the easiest thing to do. So we have a get thing here, and so now you can basically take don't redo a bunch of crazy stuff. You just I'll steal this and I'll paste it. I may have to change it a lot. I may have to change it a bunch, but we'll take it and we can start building off of this. You don't need to know how to type all of it in, just take it. And before we were listing all the resources, so maybe now, what else do we want to do? We want to be able to, I think, create a resource. I think it's a really cool one, so that we can actually get some data into this system. So we're gonna do I did list all resources at first, so I'm gonna do create a resource. Probably should just do create resource to limit the number of underscores, but we're having a little fun. Can't find it. Had a good image for you. If you ever find it, please come through and share it with us. I'd love it. What place I worked at, they will put hentai if you left it up and unlocked. Yes, absolutely. You know, again, we're PG to PG-13 stream, you know, as family friendly as possible. But yes, so the rated R version of Leak Spin, I don't know if you've ever seen Leak Spin, everyone, but you know, I'm comfortable enough to let you know to go, you know, if you're not sure, if you want to get some context, go watch Leak Spin. If you Google Leak Spin, you'll see something. And there's for sure an incredibly rated R version of Leak Spin, and yeah, if you left your computer open and unlocked, you would absolutely get spun every single time you walked away from your computer. So it's a good lesson to lock your computer when you get up and leave from it, because people are unkind. Yeah, so let's see, we want to create a resource. And so really at this point, what we're doing is, because we're dealing with the data in Mongo, we're basically like, this application right now is simply, it's not doing anything fancy. It's just putting data into a database and pulling data out of it. But imagine though, APIs can do so much more than that. APIs can, you know, you can do all kinds of transformations on the data, all kinds of calculations on the data. You can do whatever you want inside of this function. You can make anything you want happen. So, you know, they're really powerful. Oh, I love it. I love it. That is phenomenal. And that's the warbear that the world needs. Let's click on that really quick. Beautiful. I love this. This should be everyone's icon for everything. It's amazing. They should also, when they make, you should tell the people who make the Among Us game, the game Among Us, this is the art that they should use. They should make little bears for, I think they were planning on making an Among Us 2, which they might have canceled since the popularity of their first game. But this is how all game characters should look. I love this. I'm keeping this up. Oh no, there's no derailing here. I derail us plenty. Ask whatever questions, and yes, I am using Pop! OS. I'm actually using I'm using a System 76 laptop. I'm using in what is this? This is they don't make this anymore. It is not a Lemur. It is a Galago Pro. It is the last gen of the Galago Pros. Let me move this. Oh no, I'm about to knock over. Oh no. I gotta be real nice with my cords, because it will shut my computer down if I'm not really nice for it. But yes, I am using Pop! OS. Let's see here. All right, so we need to create a resource is what we're going to be working on now. And so this is really just the part that I'm doing now is just going to be the stuff that Mongo needs to go ahead and save this stuff into kind of the database here. So not really a big deal. Oh yeah, so yes, I didn't move. I moved rooms. I moved into so this is everything you can see basically is the entire room. There's a bedroom that we have in the house that is kind of too small for anyone to actually be in. So I moved my office into here so that we could have the bigger bedroom. Like the other room that you guys saw me in was big enough to where, you know, I had the whiteboard behind me, the window, but like my wife's desk and everything was in there. So it was a much larger room. And so, you know, we want to get the big room back. So I'm in here. I actually like it a lot more. Like this is all my space. But the problem is my desktop computer is pretty powerful and it puts out a lot of heat, which heats up this room so quickly. So that's gonna be nice in the winter, but it's not quite winter yet. So it gets pretty darn warm in here. All right, so we need to create a new resource. Again, this part is not really part of the API, so I'm just going to go ahead and fill in this information and just talk about it while doing it. I actually have this piece pulled up because, again, I'm not someone who does a lot of Mongo stuff. So I once I figured out how to do it, I wrote it and I was like, all right, cool. I'll put the stuff that goes into some of these functions in my notes. And this is one of them. So I'm actually going to copy this directly off my notes because I don't remember how to do this properly. But this is going to be the thing that we do for adding something to Mongo, and this is gonna be exciting because we're gonna get to see stuff go into Mongo, and we're gonna get to see the data and what's happening, and now we can start playing with messing around with this API a little bit more. And actually, I didn't need to copy any of this. I don't think this all looks new. I thought it was gonna be the same. but new resource dot save. That's what it is. It's a dot save function that's here for this, and this will actually save it to the database for us. And there's another callback function here, as everything in JavaScript is. And then we need to handle the error, which can happen right here. And send error. If not, response.json resource. So here it is. Here's a little bit different. Here it's a little bit different than the one above, and this should allow us to save to where we need to save it to. Waffle Maker, thank you so much for the Twitch Prime sub. Really do appreciate the support. Good to have you. I need a, you know, one day we'll have we need to make a bigger deal out of subs. We need to get a special animation alert for it. No sound pops up for all the subs and stuff. It only pops up to me because that got really annoying for people who are rewatching the videos later. It makes a lot of noise. Ready Eddie, thank you so much for the follow. It is good to have you. All right, so here we go. Now that we've added the function, I think this function should work. I basically copied it out of my notes. I think it should work. But we need to make one more change. Something I did not copy out of my notes, or did not put in my notes, is that now we need to add something to the routes. So we update, now that you can put as many functions in there as you want. I can put 1,000 functions, in that file if I'd like, but you need to be able to use those functions. So now I could say, hey, on a dot post, or put, if we like to use put instead, I'm going to use resources dot, and that was called create a resource. So it's going to call this function instead. When we hit the resources, the same endpoint, we'll hit the resources endpoint, but we will submit it with a different method. And we submit it with this method, we will be able to hopefully save a file or save something to the database. And then if we save something to the database, when we go to request the data, we should then see it in the database. So let's go ahead and let's attempt to do this now that we have this going. So we're gonna make sure that we can still npm start. All right, no errors, just that deprecation warning. And if we curl resources, we still get a proper response. And the way that you are going to post to this is we're going to post to this by adding a -x to this post in capital letters. So now it changes it to a post request. So if I actually just hit enter right now, I'm basically going to get an error, and it's going to say, hey, basically, like, you tried to do something and I didn't know what to do with it. I didn't know what to do with it, and that's because we did not pass through any type of information in the body of this. And I think the way that I can do this, I don't think this works through a URL. Let me look at the model. The model had a name, the model had a URL, and the model had a skill. So I think we have to pass through those things. Let me remember. You don't pass it through as a header. Do I just pass it through as data? And I think I pass it through like this. I think I can go name, name equals. So let's call this one just a test, and ampersand URL equals www.google.com, and what was the last one? The last one was skill equals beginner. Let's try this. This is just a guess, but this feels right from what I remember us writing. And I press this and that didn't work. Let's see, hold on, let's see. Body is not defined. Maybe I don't pass it through with the -d. Maybe I need to pass it through with something else. Did this give me an error? Let's try. Oh, okay. This is the same stuff here. So let me, we may have that function wrong. Typo in save callback, I think. Yeah, probably 100% a likely thing. and a callback. Let's see, function error. That, yep. So that may be the source of our problem. That may be the resource of our problem. No, not the. Why is this R here? Oh, because it's supposed to be there. That was dumb. There. That looks. Now it looks weird. Now everything looks wrong. I think resource is what we want there. That feels right. All right. Let's see if that fixes all of our problems, or if it's just the beginning of them. All right. So it doesn't like that, but it should be at least giving us back. Body is not defined. How do you, hold on. Curl, body. Let's see. Oh, see, I thought -d is how I did it. I could change it. To actual JSON, but I think by default this doesn't work that way. Let's see what happens. I'm sure we're gonna get the same thing with the Postman. Let's just see something real quick. Let's go ahead and do it. The git through localhost/resource, and let's actually make sure we hold on first. Let's make sure we set everything right. Let's double check and triple check. All right, so this is resources for post. Create a resource is what we're grabbing from here, and API controllers, and we'll split this and we'll take a look at it. For function, let's this is right over here. Pretty sure. Unless I need like a comma between them. I don't think I need a comma in between any of them. Maybe I need to do maybe we'll go with that, and let me just look at this, make sure this is good. Like I said, this is the one that I had. This is the only one that I have in my notes. There's the functions. So I should, this, out of anything, this should be right, and watch it be the most wrong because I probably copy and pasted it into my notes wrong. New source, resource takes in request.body. There it goes right there. Yep, there we go. Request.body, not rec comma body. That is probably the problem. Copied and pasting, always. Oh, broke it. We broke it. Mango client constructor. Oh, it's already in use, so it's already running. That makes sense. It is over here already running. We did not break it. Okay, now there we go. It worked this time, so it actually put something in there. And so I should have piped it through JQ. But if we go to grab the data, if we run another thing, we actually have data in there, and I'll pipe it through JQ so you can see what it looks like. Not JQC, just JQ. And look at that. Now, this is the thing that we put in there. It automatically assigns it an ID. We pass through test, we pass through a URL, and we pass through a skill. Maybe we should put skill level or something like that. But now there's data getting in. And the way that you can do that through Postman, the same thing through Postman is you can handle this a little bit different. You can do a post request, and this just has to do with the way that we set it up. You can set it up in a couple different ways. You actually have to put in the body x www form URL encoded, and then here's where you put the value. So actually look at this. If we do this and we do test 1, remember we have 3 required fields. If I send this off, it gives me, you probably can't see that super well, but it gives me a validation error. So I still get a response, and it's still a JSON response. It gives us a validation error. It says, hey, please enter a valid URL. I'm missing, the errors are from the URL, and we're missing something. I'm actually surprised it didn't give me a skill error as well. So you just need to have all the pieces, but these error codes that I put in the error codes that I put as on the required fields can be pretty helpful in getting us the answers that we need. How do I move this back down? Oh, it's the scroll. So test 1, URL is going to be www.yahoo.com, which is a terrible place to go get your tech information from. And the new key here is going to be skill, and we'll make Yahoo for the intermediate people. All right, and we can send that off. And when you do send a successful response, you do get back JSON data. And so now if we make the request, we just make the GET request here to /resource. Now we have two different items here. We have one resource that's a beginner skill and one resource that is an intermediate skill. And so all these things are being saved to our Mongo database here. And so it's really cool, and this can grow, and people can put all these things in here. You know, if we deploy this somewhere that is accessible. The last thing we'll do is, since I have all the functions here, I'm actually going to copy in an entire functions file really quick, since I have it already in here. Oh darn it, I don't have it on, I only have it, that's stupid, I only have it saved on this computer. Here we go. I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna send it to myself really quick. How are you doing? Let's see, Fausty, lots of E's there. Welcome to the channel. It is amazing that you're here. Your presence is really appreciated. So what's the best way to send this to myself? Do I have, yes, I do have Slack on here. I'll send it to myself. Ignore all this. This is all old stuff. You can steal that. This is from yesterday. I've already rotated these keys out. So you can steal them if you want, but they're already rotated, because I'm sometimes good at doing, you know, security sometimes. And so I'll take this and I'll copy it, and I will copy it into Slack. This isn't the best way to do these things. Send it to myself in Slack. What's the best? Let's see. This feels, no, that didn't format properly at all. Not even a little bit. Doesn't Slack have a code? All right, there we go. But the code thing is like, there we go. Whoa. So let's paste it first. Let's take it all. Let's codify it. No, that didn't work either. That didn't work either at all. I'll just type in, I just wanted to type in the delete function. I want to give you all the functions at once. Maybe I'll just throw them in the repo. No. We got a way. We have a way to do this. Notion to the rescue. First off, I don't know why. See, sometimes I worry about myself. So I built, like, I did this like maybe a month and a half ago. I was like, all right, I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna make the API that we're gonna build. And so I took the parts that took me a long time. These functions took me a long time. Like I said, I've never used Mongoose, so it actually took me a long time to figure out how to put things into Mongo and all that other stuff. Like took me a little while to figure that stuff out. But while I was doing that, I probably should have just kept a repo around to go off of. But you know, sometimes I like to make things tough for myself, and I did. And this is the only, and I just copied this file over into actually Google Keep. And so now we can look into Notion, and Notion has a great code editor thing, and it detects it as JavaScript, not Bash, to give us some cool syntax highlighting and stuff. Now it's there. Now I can go to Untitled. Look at this. This is the entire file that I copied. And let's go ahead and let's just stick this into our controller. Let's delete everything in our controller file. And let's definitely set paste here. And let's paste it all. And this looks like it pasted fine. And this gives us a couple more things. Now, because of this, I do have to set up some more routes really quick, but that'll take 2 seconds. But the functions that I ended up setting up were ones to, whoops, go up, go up, go up, go up, go up. Delete a resource, which is great, but also to update a resource, to read a singular resource. That is one thing we did. That is actually at a different path. So I'll set that up really fast so that you can see the information by using the ID for one individual resource. And so there are a bunch of things in here that you can use. And by a bunch, I mean like 5. so not a crazy amount. But we do need to update our routes really quick. And so let's just simply I need to actually add another route. So I actually didn't add them all here, I don't think, because it doesn't make any sense. I would have added them to a new route, and I would have added them to a new route, which would be resource slash and then a basically a placeholder for whatever I put after it. So if you do a little colon here, this will basically make this a variable, and so I'm gonna call this resource ID. And so this is if, you know, if we try to hit the resource endpoint slash an ID, it'll try to do whatever we put down here. And so for the get, this is gonna how we get a singular ID. So resources dot list. Oh, I think I want this feels wrong. Hold on. We want resources, so we're importing resources dot list a resource, create a resource. Where's list a resource? Hold on, where is it? Routes, not routes, controllers. We want this one right here. Resources dot create a resource, read a resource. Read a resource is what we wanted. I don't know why I called it read a resource, but not a big deal. There we go. Read a resource is what we want right here. So this will allow us to check out, to look at a singular resource. So let's check out and see if this works really quick. So resources slash resource ID is how we're going to do that. So let's start it up. How are you doing, semi-purple bid panda? Welcome. What's up, Accuragit? I tried it. I'm sorry if I got that wrong. Welcome to the channel. Missing schema. Schema hasn't been registered for model resource. I must have called something different here. No problem. Let's take a look at it. For model hasn't been, what do we call it before? Hasn't been registered for model resource. That seems right. Schema hasn't been registered for model resource. And I can't even undo it to remember what it was before, but that's the model though. Hold on. Just like that, I copied it and pasted this in and I broke everything. Let's see really quick. Models, resource model. Oh, the model's resources and not resource. Okay. You know, see, you know, we can figure some stuff out sometimes. Controllers, the model is resources. There we go. No problem. npm started. Okay, so now, you know, if we try to look at the resource, our resources are still here. Why? Because Mongo is a persistent data store. Even though we're stopping the server and spinning it back up, Mongo is holding all of that data for us. But now what we can do is go to like slash like the number 4 or something. So anything past this, I'm actually getting nothing. Cannot get resource 45 because resource 45 does not exist. But if we do we grab the ID of one of them and we do this, actually we get an error. Why are we getting error? Oh, okay. All right, we're getting an error because of this. Okay, 1 second. We need to add this to our models really quick. This will take 2 seconds. Vim API models. I'm not sure if I'm gonna have to delete the database or not. So basically what's happening is, I remember running into this and I didn't save this in my notes. ID has to be set up as a string in here as well for it to search on ID, because right now, when you are running that function that I wrote, it's going to try to request Mongo at just ID instead of putting it together in the proper call that it needs. So this way I have to actually put this here. I may have to actually delete the database and restart it to get things to work, but we will see. Like, it may not pick that up until I actually kill everything. And yeah, let me no problem. Docker exec dash it mongo db bash. How do it's just mongo and show DBs, drop, I don't remember. I'm trying to pull up Mongo stuff. Mongo DB, drop collection or drop table, that collection drop. I want to drop the whole database. I'm gonna drop it really quick. db.drop database. So I think I have to use it first and then drop it. So use. So you all are about to learn this in a couple weeks, like how to kind of manage data with these database things. Why did I do user? Just use. And db.drop. Oh no. Okay. Why persistent data though? Just because a lot of times when you're dealing with the backends of APIs, you're going to be dealing with persistent data. Didn't need to do persistent data at all. Oh wait, all one word. Didn't need to do persistent data at all. All right, so all I gotta do is spin it down, spin it back up, and we should basically have an empty database now. So if I do a simple curl to the endpoint, stuff is still here. Why is stuff still there? That seems really weird. Did I not drop it right? Mongo use maybe I just have to can I not drop it from where I dropped it from? Hold on. Okay, show DBs. Do I need to, let me use admin. Let's try it again. If it's case sensitive, you typed in resources. Oh, but it switched to it just fine. I just used, hold on, let me value. Maybe I can't use it. That would make sense that I can't. No, it's use it, db drop database. That's what I just did, isn't it? Let's see. Use resource says db. That looks right. You did db.drop.database the first time. I saw that. I caught that. So I'm using the resources db right now. And then the final thing I ran was this, right? This feels right. And it's giving me a 1, an okay. db. That drop database. That feels right. Is it because it's, can I not drop it because it's in use? Or something is connected to it? Huh. I don't know. This is actually pretty weird to me. should be able to drop no problem. Must be doing something wrong. Your DB equals resource DB, but you're typing in resource DB. Now this says resources DB right here with an S. You're saying my DB is no, my DB is resources DB. This is like it's showing the databases like there's like this. I'll copy and paste. Oh yeah, that's interesting. I wonder why it's okay. That's it. Typos. That's okay. There we go. That is first off, that's weird. I think it's dumb that they didn't say, hey, we can't use this database because it doesn't exist. Seems really odd to me. But yeah, typos. I told you, typos are that's my calling card. Everyone, every villain has a calling card. I have one too, and it is absolutely typos for sure. Yeah, I should have definitely been alerted to it. But all good. So now if we get out of here and we start this back up, we should have 0 data. All right, we're getting our empty stuff right there. And now the problem is if we go to make a new, where are those posts that we did? If we go to make a post that has some body stuff in it, it's actually also gonna need, I wonder if it's gonna create I don't know if it's gonna create I don't know if it's gonna create anything because we don't have an ID in there. I'll just give it an ID of 2. And we'll send that and it creates now. So we'll do another one really quick. So test 2, test 3, that goes to, or 3 test, whatever, that goes to, www.google.com, but that is also for beginners. All right, we have 2 pieces of data in here. We just pushed 2 pieces of data into the database. When we curl it, we do not have 2 pieces of data. We have a singular piece of data still. And that's because, I think because we have the same ID. The IDs have to be unique here for Mongo to work with them. So I have to pass it through something else. The IDs can't be the same. So now I have 2 items in this database. Amazing, I have 2 items. But now if I want to run a delete, I can do a couple different things. One, I can try to hit a singular thing by going to, just getting a single item by going to /5. And I still want to JQ that just to get some stuff. Invalid numeric. What happened? Error, can I get resource 5? Very interesting. That should work, but it is not working. Okay, well, that doesn't work, but maybe we can delete. Let's see if we can delete though. Resource /5, we'll have to fix that. Let's see if we can run an X delete on resource 5. And we cannot delete on 5 either. What are we doing? What's happening here? Why can't we delete on this? It feels like we can. Maybe none of our stuff is working. Maybe we got to fix all of them. Okay, well maybe not a single one of our items is working properly. But we can fix those later. Retina, thank you so much for the tier 1 sub. 2 months. I appreciate it. You're not a villain, you are Superman. Typos are your crypto. I appreciate it. I appreciate that you feel like I'm not a villain, that I am Superman. But yeah, okay, well, all those cool functions that I thought I was adding for you don't appear to be working. So now you have some fun that you can work with to see why they're not working. All we're gonna do really quick now is because we're already at 9:30. Yeah, you can add stuff pretty easily, but you cannot delete or get a single item. Hold on. I got it. I'm gonna fix it right now. Resource ID is what I'm using. Resource ID. Am I using resource ID inside of my API controller? Am I using resource? I am using. I was sure that was it. I was sure it was a bad. It was a bad name. Resource, lowercase, ID. Nah, okay. Well then, I don't actually know why it's broken. I thought I got it. I thought I was, man, you know, I really tried. I really tried. One more time. I gotta look one more time. It's gonna bother me. Resource / resource ID. That feels like it should work. Anything in my notes? I don't think I have anything in my notes about this at all. This is just, you know, we've just come to an impasse here. Yeah, that should work, but it's not. That'll be for you all to try to fix after I push this up. Now let's make a quick readme really quick so that you know how to run this, since you can run this on your own locally. So the way that we can do that is readme.md. Do I need a starting slash for hold on, for where would I need a starting, where might I need one? Maybe. Oh, good stuff. NHL, you got it. I think that is it. That's I'm there we go. That is a good catch, NHL. You see that? I love it. Let's you know, now okay, now we can't go yet. We can't go yet until we npm start this. And now, oh, oh, it's already in use. Okay, it's over here. Okay, I thought we broke it. We didn't break it. I was just running it in a different tab. Okay, here we go. Let's go ahead and get rid of number 5. Bye number. Oh wait. There we go. Bye number 5. Notice we're doing a curl. We're running a delete. Actually, before we delete it, let's see if we can get it first. Let's just see if we can get it first. We can get it. Thank you, NHL. You get the MVP for the night. I think that's the second thing that you fixed for us. You caught the first error and I ignored you, and that was my bad. And this time I did not ignore you. This time we worked symbiotically and we got to the end. We did it. I'm so excited. So if we pass this in, we can get the individual item that we want to get rather than getting everything by just hitting the resources. That gives us everything. And then if we want to delete something, I'm doing that the worst way possible. There we go. If we want to delete number 5, okay, that didn't work. Why didn't delete resource 5? That didn't work. Huh, interesting. Okay, well, you know, we tried it. we tried. We're so close. I wanted to delete it. We fixed one of them. API routes. Oh, the reason why it didn't work is because we don't have dot. You did it again. You fixed it again. All right, let's just add it really quick. Let's just add a dot delete really quick. Dot delete. And we're simply gonna go resources. You know, the night's getting long. It's hard to pay attention. Okay. Controllers, what's in controllers? In controllers, what did I call this? I called it delete a resource. Pretty good name. Sometimes I do name things well. Just delete a resource. Oh yeah, let's do this. We can now delete the resource. And now let's go over here. Let's stop it. Let's start it. And now we can delete number 5. Wait, first, you know, just there are 2. There's ID number 2 and there's ID number 5. There's 3 tests and test 1 and number 5. We've been trying to remove you for minutes, literal minutes, you know, which is basically our whole lives. We've been trying to get rid of number 5, and now number 5, you're gone. Get on out of there. If we do this again, number 5, you are gone from our database. You don't deserve to be there. Well, you deserve to be there, but we had to make you go to prove a point. So sorry, number 5, you're gone. But we did it. We did it. We were able to delete it. Let's make that quick readme really quick, just so you can run it on your own. So you can pull this down and run it on your own and get this going. So let's call this decoded example API. All right, steps to run. Number one, you want to first clone the repo. Number two, you want to CD into the repo. Number three, you want to npm install. Number four, you want to darn it. Okay, you do need, now I feel bad. You need Mongo, but we're not gonna put Mongo in there. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna copy that Docker command. You're just gonna have to download Docker because it makes it easy. And I'll just put this command in here. And we'll copy this. We'll go back over here and we will paste this in. And number five, let's see. Start MongoDB by running this. This is a terrible readme. This is the worst readme ever. And then how do I, hold on, by running this, and then I think I can do what? Backtick. How do I do backticks? I don't even know. Backtick. And then I think I can do bash, and then escape new line, and then backtick. I think I can do it like that. And then the last thing we're gonna do is you say code block, do you use black code formatter? I don't know what that is, or I don't know what that is at all. Yeah, this is going to GitHub for sure. I'm about to push this Savage Cities up to GitHub, and yeah, you can contribute to it as open source. It's open source, free for you all to use or to contribute to or whatever. This is just a fun little thing we built. And number five, npm start, and then 6 curl http:// localhost 3000. Now, if you're gonna contribute to this, please first contribute by making our make this better. It has no, this readme has zero, there's no description in here or anything like that. And you know what? I want to see what it looks like first. I want to see what this looks like in VS Code really quick, because we got to see it. Where's my button? Where's the, what? Hold on. What's happening? Unable to write into user settings. Oh, my VS Code's all broken right now. I can't even preview. How come? What? Oh, I didn't call it a markdown file. Never mind. That ignore me. Dot markdown. Now I can preview it. Oh, there we go. Phenomenal. Oh, wait. Steps to run. All right, there we go. That's just how it's gonna be. Now let's make this a repository. It could be worse. It could be empty. I mean, so it's taking me a long time to get my Vim to this level, but my Vim settings are in. I think if you do ! terminal settings, I think it will give you. No, terminal settings won't. ! Vim settings. Maybe let's see if that gives you something back. But in my GitHub, if you do ! GitHub, you can get to my GitHub, and it has my vimrc where you can see my Vim, all my Vim settings, and you can like steal them if you'd like. And I have a video coming out about how to actually apply them if you need it. There's a primegin video on it that will help as well. It's really good. Okay, so now let's push this up to GitHub really quick. Vim.gitignore and node modules. Right, that's what we want. And then so what we want to do now is we want to do a git init, then we want to do a git status, then we want to do a git. See, notice that git ignore means it's ignoring that node modules folder. Then we want to do a git add. Oh, I guess I want to do everything. I can do a git commit -am. This is our finished API project. Sure. Whoa, you tried to play me? What happened? Nothing added to commit. Oh, I didn't add anything. That was dumb. No, that's what the dash A is for. Why doesn't this work? Someone tell me why this doesn't work. Oh well, I mean, I never do that anyway. I never do a git commit am, but whatever. Our finished project. Oh, does AM only work for, does A only work for things that are already tracked? That would make sense, actually. That would make a lot of sense. You know, see, sometimes you just got to sit down for a second or two and figure out what the heck is going on. I don't even know what that message said. Oh, okay, our finished project, that's fine. So let's go into GitHub really fast. New repo. Let's get it going. So we're gonna call this decoded dash resources dash API. We'll do with that sample. Actually, just call this decoded class API project. So, you know, just go through and kind of look at it, and you know, if you're interested in messing with it, again, submit PRs. We'll check out PRs. Maybe we'll do some live PR reviews on it. Obviously, this could be, you know, created to do a lot of cool things. Can be updated to do some dope stuff, and it'll just be better in general, because we just were kind of running through it. They've made the move to main instead of master, and I feel like this is going to be problematic for me to remember, but completely fine. You know, it'll be okay. So add this. Now there's a new command to make this main instead, and we'll do that, and then we'll do git push -u origin master. No, that's wrong. Failed to push some refs to, what happened? Error RSpec origin. Oh, main. See, I literally just said it was gonna mess me up, and then it messed me up. Phenomenal. But it's okay, you know, change next time, you know, I'll remember. I will absolutely remember the 30-second time I do it. It'll submit in my brain and I'll get it. But it's there. So now any of you who want to grab the code, try to run it yourselves, take it and run with it. You know, if we get, so you know what, just to encourage some interaction here, let's get 5 PRs in. If we get 5 PRs in, we will deploy this somewhere. We'll deploy this to a permanent mastermind IO endpoint, and we will start to make this an actual project. I'm going to use Conduit for pipeline projects starring Jenkins. I like it. That's phenomenal. That's, you know, I don't hate Jenkins. I just don't love Jenkins. So let me share this URL. If you want it, go grab it. But that's it. I hope you got something out of tonight. Again, the goal wasn't to learn JavaScript at all. The goal was just to see that, you know, we learned a little bit this week about how the internet works, different internet protocols. You know, we learned about DNS a little bit, but really we learned that these APIs can be used to interface with, to be able to expose information, to be exposed functionality of your systems to the outside world, or to whoever you want to give access to, and it's a common way for this is the way that you know, a lot of applications are built, and you know, how people like to expose their inner tooling and things to other people. You know, we got to see that basically all you're really doing at the end of the day is you are responding to requests. So you're responding to web requests. You are setting up different routes that are kind of listening, and you know, depending on what comes in, you're just, you know, determining what to do based on what comes in, specifically based on what comes in using different HTTP verbs or HTTP methods. So that get, that post, request, you know, those CRUD operations, you know, create, read, update, and delete. So, you know, at the end of the day, it's not a, you know, it's not a crazy wild concept. Yes, APIs can get really big and do really powerful things, but really what they are is actually quite simple, but you know what you do behind them can be pretty complex. So hopefully that helps a little bit. Hopefully now you understand, you know, when you're going to these websites and stuff, start to look into, you know, and this is a good one to like to do just because I worked on this project. But like if I were to go to sba.gov, which is the website that I used to run, the team that managed this. But if you take a look at the networking tab, you can actually see that when you go to a page, it's making a bunch, like the client now is making a bunch of requests to different APIs. See, API/content/search, API/content/search, sitemap.json. It's making a bunch of different API calls to get the data that it needs to be able to fill in the information on the page. And a lot of websites are like that. If you look at your network tab for all kinds of stuff, you'll see all the different API requests that are being made, the ones that are being made from the client. So yeah, that's it for the web this week. What are we doing next week? Let's see. Academy.mastermind.io/decoded. We're moving on to something a little different next week. I think it's actually very different, but I can't remember what it is. Next week we are starting with data structures. So we're talking about all the linked lists and, you know, all the tree traversals, all the different more advanced data structures that we haven't talked about before. We're going to be talking about those things. You won't leave as a super duper expert in data structures, but I think you'll have a really good idea of how to use them, and it'll give you some good insight moving into the next 2 weeks, which are going to be algorithms weeks. So again, we'll be moving into searching algorithms and then sorting algorithms, and we'll basically just be solving problems those whole weeks. So like the first half of the first class, we will learn the concept and how to kind of approach things, and then we will figure out what to do there. So yeah, that's it for that. If you are interested in pipelines, I always forget the name of the classes for some reason when I'm trying to say them on the fly. So if you're new to the channel, this is a journey into software engineering and computer science, but on Mondays and Wednesdays we run one called Pipelines, a journey into software delivery, automation, and infrastructure. And we are moving on to learning about distributed systems and approaching cloud migrations and software architecture, systems architecture and design strategies and stuff next week. So that stuff should be pretty fun before we move into all the infrastructure as code concepts, where we are codifying all of our infrastructure via code using all kinds of things like Terraform and Ansible and whatever we need to get the job done. But that's it. Thanks everyone for coming through. All the amazing follows: Niddle, Gabriel Hansen, welcome to the channel. Metal X Worker, Somber Sauce, welcome. Tokers, Swan John, Z77 Dev, adult version, unfortunate but understandable. Welcome everyone to the channel. I'm so glad to have you. Glad to have you. We're Mastermind Academy. If you come here to learn, have fun, chill, do some cool coding vibes in the evening. We're here at 7 p.m. Eastern time, Monday through Thursday. But that's it for tonight. Everyone have a great weekend. We are going to go check out who we're going to raid tonight. Twitch. Hi from Brazil, welcome. I love Brazil. I really wanted to go to the Olympics in Brazil, but I couldn't make it, unfortunately, because your boy had $4 in his pocket. Well, I'm lying, I didn't have $4, but I didn't have Brazil money to go there. I wish I could, but hello from Baltimore. I'm in Baltimore, Maryland, East Coast of the United States. So yeah, hello. Who are we gonna head over and see this evening? Let's see who's on any of them. Dev work, teach dev. Oh, Callow's on. I think we rated Callow the other day. Appreciate that. NHL, like I said, your MVP. You helped me out a lot today. Thank you so much. I love the teamwork. It does, in fact, make the dream work. So thank you. Let's see. There's always so many Portuguese streams on right now, and I'm not against Portuguese streams. I just like to interact, and I don't know. I just don't know Portuguese. Let's see. Spanish. Yeah, let's head over and see Callow. Our boy Callow. Callow is great. I try to spread around the love, but nah, you know, sometimes, you know, Callow, I just love Callow a little bit more some days. Let's head over raid. Callow creation. Got it. All right, we're heading over. Again, thank you everybody for another great week. I hope everyone got something out of this week. Go relax, go rest with your friends and family, or become a super genius at everything that you're learning. But good luck, and I'll see everybody back next week. Have a great night, and let's hit the raid button now.